speak for themselves. Get the gift of time at Millennium Laser Eye Surgeons.
Back here, Charlie Manuel can't explain it. He's given Jason Worth a day off today, little mental break. And he's hoping that at some point these bats come back to life because the Phillies, who as Dave mentioned, at one point had a 5-game lead in this division. But now they sit 2 games behind the Braves at 30-26. They've lost 13 of their last 19. Phillies looking to get things right. The Marlins looking to get things right. Something's got to give here over the course of these next 3 nights. After the 3 here, it's on at Tropicana Field in St. Pete. We'll play the Rays 3 times over the weekend, Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday afternoon. Chris Volstad against Kyle Kendrick in a rematch of a game we saw a couple of Friday nights ago in Miami that Kendrick and the Phillies won 3-2. Kendrick comes in 3-2, a 4.62 ERA. He's pitched very well his last 2 times out. Volstad's lost 4 in a row. He's 3-6 overall. His ERA at 4.08 after 11 starts. Tonight's first pitch brought to you by South Dade Toyota, your new dealer in South Dade. They're located on US 1 at 293rd Street, just 20 minutes from Kendall. So here we go, first to 3, the Marlins and the Phillies on a gorgeous night here in the south side of Philadelphia. Here for the play-by-play, the voice of the Marlins, Dave Van Horn.
Thanks, Glenn, and hi again, everybody. Glad to have you aboard for tonight's game. Chris Coghlan will lead it off. The Marlins out of the third base dugout. They're wearing their gray road pants with the black tops, black caps, and helmets. The Phillies in their home white pinstripe uniforms trimmed in red. Here's the windup by Kyle Kendrick and his first of the night. It's over in a called strike. We're underway. Chris Coghlan's batting average is up to 262 now. He's hit in 8 straight, and in those 8 games, he's batted .500. Here comes the pitch to Chris, and that's missing low, and a ball, 1 ball, 1 strike to the Marlins leadoff hitter. So during the 8 games, 17 hits in 34 at-bats for that .500 average. The wind by Kendrick, the right-hander deals, and Chris fouls it back to the screen. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Chris has also hit in 12 of the last 13 at a .415 pace. Now with all that, perhaps he can adjust the numbers against the Phillies. He's just 2 for 18 against the Phils. Kendrick's got the sign. Rocks and delivers, and a swing and a foul ball straight back on Chris Coghlan. That breeze that I mentioned earlier blowing in toward the right field line is more a crosswind now, left to right. The flags were blowing in this way a little bit. Now they're blowing straight across from left to right. Here's the pitch to Coghlan, and Coghlan swings and hits a line drive, but right at the left fielder Ibanez, who breaks in and makes the catch. That's the kind of out we saw so much of last year with Coghlan when he was swinging the good bat the last 2 months of the season. Even his outs were hard. That was a good, well, hard-hit ball, but lined right to Ibanez in left. So 1 out, and Gabby Sanchez will be the batter. Gabby hitting a .267. 4 homers and 14 doubles for Gabby Sanchez. Hanley Ramirez out to the on-deck circle. Kendrick winds, delivers, and he misses inside, ball 1. He is 3-2 after 11 starts. Kendrick with a 4.62 earned run average. 25-year-old, born in Houston, raised in the great state of Washington, Mount Vernon, Washington. Here's the wind, the pitch. A swing here. Gabby Sanchez puts a charge into 1 to left field. Is it fair or foul? It's going to be up, up, and away. A home run for Gabby Sanchez. And a 1-0 first inning Marlins lead. For Gabby, number 5.
Well, the Marlins have had a power outage of late for Gabby. His first home run in 22 games, 85 at-bats. That's a welcome way to get this ball game started. And if you're the Phillies, they've struggled scoring runs. They don't want to fall behind big early.
And it's good to see. You know he got into that because that wind, again, is left to right. That was not a wind-aided home run. Not that you need aid from the wind at Citizens Bank Park, but just to make the point, it was well tagged to left. Hanley Ramirez steps in. Hanley swings, misses the first pitch. Hanley's been in a slump. His average down to 284. Now, 284 sounds decent, but remember, this is the defending National League batting champion who hit 347 last year. Hanley in his last 10 games has batted 162. 6 hits, 37 at-bats. Here's the pitch, and that is low. Over the course of the games he has played since the Hanley incident. Remember when Freddie Gonzalez sat him down after that misplayed ball that he ran lazily after against Arizona? He sat him down and then started him in a game at St. Louis when the Marlins opened up a road trip after he had been benched for a day. And he had 3 hits that night against the Cardinals. He takes low ball 2-1. Since that 3-hit game against the Cardinals, which was his return to the lineup, he's batted .238. Here comes a 2-1 pitch. And that is low. 3 balls and a strike, the count on Hanley. 8 home runs for Hanley, 12 batted in. Like the team, he did not have a good series against the Mets, just 1 for 11. Here's the wind by Kendrick and the pitch, and that's on the outside edge. Hanley thought it was ball 4. Now it's 3-2. Kendrick's last time out was Wednesday at Atlanta. He went 7 innings, did not have a decision. He pitched a good ball game, allowed 1 run earned on 5 hits, only walked 2, struck out 4. Phil's lost 2-1. He lost to Derek Lowe. The pitch is in there, called strike 3. Hanley again starting toward first base, and now has an exchange with the plate umpire Ted Barrett. So Hanley is called out on strikes. Marlins up 1-0 on the Gabby Sanchez home run. And here's Jorge Cantu batting at .289. Cantu has hit in 7 straight, piecing together a little mini hit streak here. 7 straight, 9 hits, 26 at-bats. Kendrick to the plate, and Cantu takes a called strike. Coming into this game, Kendrick had only allowed 1 earned run over the last 13 innings, but Gabby Sanchez put a blemish on that mark with the home run here in this first inning. The pitch is low and outside. Kendrick's been a good pitcher in this ballpark. 16-game winner here in 37 previous career games. Cantu waits for the pitch, swings, fouls it off right at the plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Jorge Cantu. 2 outs here in the first inning.
He's a sinker baller. That helps pitching in this ballpark. A launching pad. If you leave too many balls up, you get in big trouble here.
Kendrick, 3-2 lifetime against the Marlins. Tonight makes his 11th appearance, 7th start. The pitch, swing and a miss. He struck out Jorge Cantu, and prior to that, he got Hanley Ramirez looking. So 1 run on a home run by Gabby Sanchez, and a 1-0 Marlins lead with the Phillies coming up on the Marlins Radio Network. No matter, it would be only natural, Jeff, no matter how well prepared for this first major league start Mike Stanton might be, there's a case of the butterflies and the jitters and a high flow of adrenaline that he'll get under control after an inning or 2. But what a thrill for him, and his dad is here to see him make his debut. Here's the pitch, and a called strike. Stanton stands in the shade area out there in right field, shaded to right center.
He said the stomach was okay earlier this afternoon. He said about the time the anthem starts to play, though, he thinks he'll feel some butterflies.
Sure. Here's the pitch, and it missed inside the ball. I talked to him for a while, as you did. He was our guest on the pregame show, and I talked to him when I first got to the ballpark, and he was very calm, cool, collected, and at ease. Comfortable in the clubhouse and with the teammates that he knows from spring training. That pitch inside, and ball 2. 2-1 to Utley, who's hitting .260. 10 homers, 11 doubles. He's knocked in 25. Marlins have done a pretty good job pitching to Utley so far. Here's the pitch, and that's off the outside edge, and Chris falls behind 3-1. None of the numbers favor Utley in this matchup. First of all, he's coming off a series against San Diego, and he was 2 for 15. Against Chris Volstad, he's 2 for 14 in his career. Here he slams a high fly ball to left. Going back on it, onto the warning track to make the catch, Chris Coghlan, and a 1-2-3 inning. Utley hitting the fly ball the other way sends Coghlan to the track, but he made the play with no threat of that ball going out. So the Phils come up empty, 1-2-3 against Volstad. He and the Marlins have a 1-0 lead through 1 on the Marlins radio network.
1-0 Marlins as we begin the second inning in Philadelphia tonight. It'll be Dan Uggla, Cody Ross, and Mike Stanton here in inning number 2 against Kyle Kendrick. Gabby Sanchez giving the Marlins a 1-0 lead with his 5th home run of the season with 1 out in the first inning. Now here's Uggla. Dan, who homered in the 4th inning against the Mets on Sunday. Back in that customary 5 spot in the batting order tonight. Kyle Kendrick kicks and fires, and he hits the inside edge, strike 1. Freddie Gonzalez talking about returning the lineup to its more normal form here tonight after he had Hanley leading off and Uggla hitting 3rd on Sunday. Kendrick's 0-1 to Dan is too far outside. And he said really what he wanted to do on Sunday was to give Hanley a bit of a breather, let him catch his breath mentally and physically. He would have given him a day off, except the Marlins already had a day off yesterday here in Philadelphia. 1-1, a swing and a miss. So he thought just by letting Hanley lead off, go back to those leadoff roots, maybe he'd rejuvenate him a little bit. Hanley didn't see a lot to hit, batting in front of Chris Coghlan in the leadoff spot on Sunday. They walked him 3 times. Now the 1-2 to Dan is outside for a ball. So tonight, Coghlan's back atop the lineup. Gabby hitting 2nd, Hanley 3rd, Cantu, Uggla right on down the line. Everything looks the same except for Mr. Stanton in the 7 hole. Uggla batting .268 coming in, 13 homers, 34 runs batted in, and he lifts a fly ball to center field, drifting into right center Victorino. He's got plenty of room, and he makes the catch, 1 out here in the 2nd. Here comes Cody Ross. Well, at Geico, you've got a choice of ways you could save on car insurance. Call 1-800-947-AUTO. Go online to geico.com or stop by the Geico office nearest you. Cody in center field tonight with Stanton in right, and it sounds like you can get used to this. Cody's going to play just about every day in center. Stanton's going to play just about every day in right. Chris Coghlan in left. Cameron Maven on the bench for now. Pitches down and in for a ball. There will be days, maybe against a tough left-hander or a pitcher against whom Coghlan has struggled in the past, where Mike Stanton could play left field, move Cody back to right, put Maven in center. 1-0 is chopped on the ground to the shortstop. Valdez has it over to first, 2 down. So with the bases empty and 2 outs here in the 2nd, here's Mike Stanton for his first major league at bat. 20-year-old was the Marlins' 2nd-round draft pick in 2007. Just about 3 years to the day on which he was drafted. Here he is, batting in a big league game for the first time. This a long-anticipated trip to home plate for Stanton, wearing number 27 on the back of his Marlins uniform. Kendrick's first pitch coming, and Stanton takes a strike over the outside corner. Start him off with a fastball that tailed away. 0-1. 52 games at Jacksonville, 311, 21 homers, 52 runs batted in. The 0-1 is a little bit low. Stanton, the right-handed hitter, a slightly open stance, knees bent, weight back. Here comes the 2nd youngest player to ever debut for the Marlins, and he takes down and in, 2-1. Stanton, 20 years old, 212 days. Miguel Cabrera, the only younger player to play for the Marlins. He was 20 years old and 63 days when he debuted back in 03. Ahead in the count, 2-1 as Kendrick readies. Now the pitch coming, and Stanton takes a little bit high. It's 3-1. So he's gotten himself into a good hitter's count here. He'll look for something to drive. And if he gets something to drive, he knows what to do with it. Kendrick, the 3-1 coming. And a big swing and a miss. Pitch in on the hands. Fastball at 89 miles per hour to take the count full. Stanton, 44 walks, 53 strikeouts at Double-A Jacksonville to begin this season. Awaits the payoff pitch. Here it comes, and he bounces it back over the mound. Near the bag at second, Utley. Bare hands, drops it. It's an infield hit. And Mike Stanton's got his first big league hit and his first big league at bat. On a 3-2 pitch, chops a single over the mound. It was an all-or-nothing attempt by Utley, the second baseman, to barehand that ball. Couldn't come up with it cleanly. So not a home run, but he gets that first hit out of the way. Good start for Stanton.
I would be willing to predict that most of his hits now from this point on in the major leagues are going to travel a lot further than that one.
I bet you're right. You've been around this game a long time, haven't you, to make a prediction like that?
An astute observation there when I saw him hit the ball about 125 feet.
Got the job done. Gets Paulino to the plate with 2 outs, and Ronnie first pitch swinging. Lifts a high fly ball deep to left center field. Back goes Ibanez onto the track, and it's going to get in there up against the wall for extra bases. Stanton around third. He's going to score. Paulino's in at second with a double, and it's 2-0 Marlins. Ibanez and Victorino converged near the wall. Victorino got closer to it than Ibanez did, but neither one was able to make the play. So Paulino knocks in his 25th run of the season. He's got an RBI now in 8 consecutive starts. And the Marlins add a second inning run to the run they scored in the first.
Stanton fills up another column.
Got another column out of the way with his first run scored. First hit, first run. And his first high fives getting back to the dugout. Gets a hug from Gabby Sanchez. And now the pitcher, Chris Volstad, with 2 outs and Paulino at second base. So after 2 out and nobody on, the infield hit by Stanton, the double by Paulino. And now Volstad chops one off the hand of the pitcher, picked up by Polanco, the third baseman, over to first for the out. That'll go 1-5-3, and the Marlins are gone in the second. But they get a run on 2 hits, including the first big league hit of Mike Stanton. And as we head to the bottom of the second, it's 2-0 Marlins on the Marlins Radio Network.
Speed.com and
54 in his first 27. Crowds the plate, stands deep in the box. Bats with Ibanez at third base, Valdez at second, 2 down. And the pitch is low for a ball. Gets away from Paulino for second, but he chases it down quickly. It looks like they're going to go E6 all the way on that ground ball to short. They've got a Marlins error up there, but still only the one Phillies hit, and that belongs to Ibanez. So an E6 all the way. Ruiz, the native of Panama. Paulino sets up away. Volstad's 1-0 in the dirt. Nice block again by Paulino. Ball 2. They'll be careful with Ruiz with first base open, and the pitcher Kendrick waiting on deck. Marlins 2, Phillies nothing. 75 degrees game time. What a great night here in Philadelphia. There's ball 3 offered intentionally after falling behind Ruiz, seeing he wasn't going to chase anything. Now they will just give him the intentional walk and take their chances with the pitcher, Kendrick, with the bases loaded and 2 down. So the Marlins will play the percentages here. Kendrick just 1 out of 18 at the plate. But you can't afford to make a mistake if you're Volstad. Well, we've got a Marlins watch party coming up this Thursday night, day after tomorrow. A Corona Marlins watch party at the Sports Exchange in Coral Gables. Marlins and Phillies at 7:05 again Thursday night. Billy and the Mermaids will be there. You can win tickets to upcoming games and enjoy 5 for $20 buckets of Corona and Corona Light. Kendrick watches low and away, ball 1. That's a Corona Marlins watch party Thursday night at the Sports Exchange in Coral Gables. Game starts at 7:05. Ibanez at third, Valdez at second, Ruiz at first with 2 down. A 1-0, Kendrick swings and misses. It's 1-1. Lights are on. Sun's still out, though, here in Philadelphia. Another full house. This will be the 70th consecutive sellout for the Phillies here at Citizens Bank Park. Their 30th this season, 40 to end last year. There's a fastball for a strike to Kendrick. Volstad jumps ahead 1-2. How about tomorrow night here in Philadelphia? You've got Johnson and Halladay, the Marlins and the Phillies, and right across the street at the Wachovia Center, you've got Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Finals, the Blackhawks and the Flyers. 1-2, ground ball on the right side, picked up by Gabby. He'll wave the pitcher off, take it himself. He retires Kendrick and the Phillies, who leave the bases loaded in the third. No runs, 1 hit. There was an error, and the bases left full. We head to the third, Marlins 2, Phillies nothing. This is Marlins Baseball on the Marlins Radio Network. Marlins coming up top in the third. They lead the Phillies 2-0 tonight. First of a 3-game series here at Citizens Bank Park. Marlins lost 3 straight over the weekend in New York. Looking to bounce back here against the fighting Phils. Philadelphia 2-2 so far in this 7-game homestand. The Phillies split a 4-game set with the Padres over the weekend. This is a tough stretch now for both of these teams. You look at the Marlins beginning this series with the Phillies. Then it's on to Tampa Bay to play the Rays, the team with the best record in all of baseball, before we return home to take on the Texas Rangers, who have led the AL West for much of the season. Then Tampa Bay comes to town. As for these Phillies, they've got the Marlins now. Then they go to Fenway Park for 3 against the Red Sox. Then to Yankee Stadium for 3 against the Yankees. And they come home to take on the Minnesota Twins, who lead the AL Central. So some tough baseball coming for both these clubs in the next 10 days or so. Top of the order, Chris Coghlan to lead things off here in the third for the Marlins. A run in the first, a run in the second. Kyle Kendrick's first pitch, line drive right at the second baseman. Utley reaches up to spear it. And Coghlan, who lined sharply to left in the first, lined sharply to second here in the third. Here's Gabby Sanchez, who's home run in the first. Gave the Marlins their first run. Well, Gabby's a happy man tonight as Miami Hurricanes were able to take care of Texas A&M this afternoon, 10-3. They advance to the Super Regional, where they got to play the University of Florida up in Gainesville this weekend, best 2 out of 3. Pitch to Gabby is in there for a strike. Gabby had his 5th home run in the first inning, knocked in his 22nd run of the season. He's hit safely now in 12 of 14. And he nubs a little slow roller past the mound, a long way to his right to get it. Howard bobbles it, and Sanchez is going to be safe. I think Howard thought that Kendrick was going to field that ball initially, but Kendrick wasn't able to get there. And the ball was hit just slowly enough with a little bit of backspin on it that Sanchez is going to be safe at first base, as Howard has worked very hard in his defense, and he's made some improvements the last couple of years. Just couldn't make that play. We'll see how they score that one. Gabby running hard all the way. That's a scoring decision that really could go either way. So here's Hanley with Sanchez at first and 1 out in the third. They're going to go E3 on Ryan Howard. Hanley took a called third strike in the first inning. Didn't like the call from Ted Barrett. Howard holds against the runner Sanchez. Kendrick's pitch, and Hanley rifles one high and deep to left. There's no doubt about it. It's 4-0 Marlins. Hanley unloads his 9th home run of the season, his first in 99 at-bats. And the Marlins open this one up here with 2 in the third. Hanley just missed the second deck with that shot. He crushed it, and Kendrick, a sinker baller who doesn't normally allow a lot of home runs. In fact, coming into this one, he'd given up only 1 in his last 6 starts. But he's already been touched for a pair, one by Sanchez, and now one by Ramirez. So Jorge Cantu coming up with the Marlins now having opened up a 4-0 lead against this Philadelphia team that just can't put runs on the scoreboard lately. Remember, the Marlins blew a 5-0 lead Sunday in New York. Cantu takes a strike. The Phillies scored 6 runs on Saturday and 5 runs on Sunday against the Padres. The 0-1 pitch to Cantu, grounded foul off to the left. But those 2 games were the only 2 times they've scored as many as 5 in a game since all the way back on May 21st when they scored 5 against the Red Sox. The 6-run game, their biggest output since May 17th when they scored 12 against the Pirates. This is not a team right now in good position to come from behind. Cantu lines one to center. Victorino's got it measured and makes the catch. 2 down, and Dan Uggla coming up. So the Marlins with 4 runs on 4 hits. The Phillies no runs on 1 hit. Each team's made an error as we play the top of the third. Uggla fly ball to center to start the second inning. Now just 12 hits in his last 61 at bats. First pitch from Kendrick in the air to center again. Victorino backing up. Still going back. Onto the warning track. He's got room, and just to the right of the 401 marker, he makes the catch to retire the side. But the Marlins had 2 more runs on a home run by Hanley. There was an error in the inning, so 1 run earned, 1 run unearned We've played 2.5 in Philadelphia tonight. All Marlins to this point. 4-0 our score on the Marlins Radio Network. Philadelphia, the Phillies coming up at the bottom of the third. 4-0. The Marlins on top tonight. A run in the first, run in the second, 2 in the third. Couple of home runs. Gabby with the bases empty in the first. Hanley with a man on in the third. And now for the Phillies, it'll be Shane Victorino to lead off inning number 3. Victorino grounded to second his first time. Takes strike one from Chris Volstad. So Volstad with a 4-run advantage here. The 0-1 to Victorino. Missed a little bit low. Marlins coming out swinging against Kyle Kendrick. Swinging a foul tip at the plate by Victorino, 1-2. We last saw Chris Volstad against the Milwaukee Brewers on Wednesday. Left that game with a 2-1 lead. Got a no decision. Allowed a run on 4 hits over 5 2/3. Walked 3, struck out 4. Remember, that was the night Giovanni Gallardo, the Milwaukee pitcher, at a game-tying home run off Taylor Tankersley. 1-2 to Victorino. Bounced on the right side, past the mound. Uggla's got to hurry. He's got it, and he throws to first. Nicely done to retire the speedy Victorino. So Victorino 0 for 2 with 2 ground balls to second. 1 out in the third for Placido Polanco. I'll update you on the progress of Steven Strasburg tonight. Through 3 innings, a 1-hit shutout, no walks, 6 strikeouts for Strasburg. He's got a 1-0 lead at home against Pittsburgh on a first-inning home run by Ryan Zimmerman. But he's 0 for 1 at the plate. Polanco first pitch swinging, dumps one down the right field line on the run. Uggla makes the catch. 2 quick outs for Chris Volstad, who looked to Chase Utley. Well, if you're traveling this season, you can take the Marlins with you. Subscribe to MLB.tv today to see every Marlins game live or on demand on your computer. Visit Marlins.com to order and get more details. MLB.tv. Baseball everywhere. Chase Utley, a fly ball to the warning track in left his first time up. Boy, is he ever struggling. He's got 11 hits in his last 71 at-bats, hitting 155 in his last 20 games. Only 1 homer, 3 RBIs in that span as he watches too low from Volstad. He was hitting .315. But that slide began May 16th, and now he's at .259. The 1-0, ground ball through the right side. There's a base hit for Utley. And a 2-out base runner for the Phillies. Let it get Howard to the plate, and no matter how much these Phillies are struggling offensively, especially in this ballpark, you've got to be ever mindful of how quickly they can get back into a ball game. A 2-out hit by Utley and 1 big swing by Howard, who has a history of success against Volstad, and all of a sudden they're back within 2 runs. Howard, a notorious slow starter. He's always put up huge numbers in the second half. Now, the first couple of weeks of this season, he came out of the gates on fire. But he's cooled off since. Pitch on the way from Volstad, and it's blasted a long way to deep left center field. Cody Ross is going to watch it go. A 2-run blast for Howard, his 10th of the year. And the Marlins lead cut to 4-2. What were we just saying? A 2-out hit by Utley, and just like that, Howard unloads. Only the second home run Volstad has allowed in his last 6 starts. He's done a much better job keeping the ball in the park this year than last year. Remember last year? 29 starts, 29 home runs allowed. Oh, that's just his 6th home run allowed this year. This is start number 12. Now Ben Francisco to the plate. Wrapped into an around-the-horn double play his first time. Takes outside and low, ball 1. Marlins 4, Phillies 2, as the Phillies answer with 2 here in the bottom of the third. Francisco watches away. Now the 2-0. It is low, ball 3. Alex Rios hit a home run against Chris Volstad May 22nd in Chicago. We're playing the White Sox. That's the only home run he's allowed since May 7th before the blast by Howard. There's a strike called to Francisco. If Francisco reaches, Raul Ibanez comes up. He'd be the tying man. Now the 3-1, and Francisco lines one over Hanley out into left for a base hit. Hanley went as high as he could, couldn't pull it down. So 3 consecutive 2-out hits, including the Howard home run. And here's Ibanez, who singled in the second. I hope you'll be there for the fun of Baker Concrete Super Saturdays all season long. Post-game concerts, fireworks, giveaways, autograph sessions, and more. Upcoming concerts include Sergio Vargas with Millie Quesada on June 19th and OAR on June 26th. Call 1-877-MARLINS. Go to marlins.com to get your Baker Concrete Super Saturday tickets. There goes the runner. There's a strike at the knees. A throw from Paulino. The tag by Hanley. Not in time. He's safe at second base. Hanley started off as though he thought he'd gotten the tag on Francisco in time. But Brian Gorman, the crew chief, says, nope, he's safe. So Francisco with his first stolen base of the year.
They stole 3 bags against Chris in his start in Miami against Kendrick and the Phils.
And they were very costly stolen bases. Yeah. A couple of them set up runs. A huge one by Chase Utley. Pitch now to Ibanez. Big swing and a miss. It's 0-2. Yeah, Utley had singled with 2 outs in that ball game. Stole second. And then was able to score on a base hit by Ryan Howard. Well, not for the stolen base, he wouldn't have scored. 0-2 pitch to Ibanez in the dirt. Nice block by Paulino to his left. Well, the Marlins come into this one 2 games under 500 overall. They're 28-30. They're 4 under on the road, 11-15 away from Sun Life Stadium with losses in 7 out of 9 and 12 of their last 17 road games. Phillies 3 over at home, 15-12. The 1-2 2-out pitch. Ibanez grounds one through the left side. A base hit, charged by Coghlan. Around third coming home, Francisco. There won't be a throw. So 4 consecutive hits with 2 outs. That stolen base pays big dividends for the Phillies. It nets them another run. And now the Marlins lead is 4-3. Randy St. Clair out to the mound to talk with Chris Volstad. They had that Utley stolen base we told you about May 28th against Chris Volstad, and then a double steal pulled off by Victorino and Valdez in the 7th inning, put men at second and third. A Chase Utley ground ball that might have been a double play ball, instead knocked in a run in that 7th inning. And that was the tie-breaking run and a 3-2 Phillies win. So the Phillies' stolen bases against Volstad have been huge. Chris now has allowed 11 stolen bases in 12 tries. Incredibly, the Phillies, who year in and year out are at or at least very close to the top of the league in stolen bases, are at the bottom of the league in steals and even in stolen base attempts this year. They're just 25 for 29 with the stolen base here tonight as Wilson Valdez stands in and watches strike one. They're very successful, caught only 4 times, but they just haven't been running nearly as much. Ibanez at first, held over there by Sanchez. Volstad ready, the 0-1 to Valdez, low. Ibanez not normally much of a threat to be running, but you never know. He's only attempted 1 steal this year. He's 0 for 1. Chris says he's made some mechanical adjustments to try to make himself quicker to home plate over the course of his last couple of starts. Some things he's worked on the side with Randy St. Clair. Spin, a toss to first, back to the bag, Ibanez. But he also admits sometimes he gets so caught up in the heat of the moment, so focused on trying to make the pitch he's trying to make, that he forgets about those adjustments. About to throw his 53rd pitch, trying to get out of the 3rd inning, leading 4-3. Pitch on the way outside. Valdez takes ball 2. Well, the Marlins had a 5-0 lead with Ricky Nolasco on the mound going to the bottom of the 6th Sunday in New York. They lost that game 7-6. They had a 4-0 lead into the bottom of the 3rd here tonight. Now it's a 4-3 game. Phillies with 4 straight 2-out hits. There's a ball in the air down the right field side. It's going to get back into the seats. A foul ball off the bat of Valdez. Wilson Valdez reached on a Hanley Ramirez error in the 2nd inning. For Hanley, already his 7th error of the season. This is his 58th game. He made 10 all year last year. Remember, he cut his error total from 22 in 08 all the way down to 10 last year. 2-2 to Valdez. Low gets away from Paulino for a second. Ibanez tries for second. Paulino's throw won't be in time. A wild pitch. That ball got just far enough away from Paulino. And with the good secondary lead and the good jump, Ibanez able to move up. It'll be a wild pitch charge to Chris Volstad. For Chris, number 5 on the season, most on this staff. Marlins have thrown 16 wild pitches. Chris has 5 of them. So now a base hit might score Ibanez. He'll be running on contact with 2 outs. He's the tying man at second. Payoff pitch to Valdez. Bouncing ball left to the shortstop, and Hanley gobbles it up. Careful throw to first for the out. And that's all for the Phillies. But a productive third inning for Philadelphia. Phil scored 3 runs on 4 hits. The big blow, a 2-run home run by Ryan Howard. We're headed to the 4th. It'll be Ross, Stanton, and Paulino for the Marlins. They lead 4-3 on the Marlins Radio Network.
Back here for inning number 4. The Phillies getting right back in the game. Just put a 3 spot on the board in the bottom of the 3rd after the Marlins had taken a 4-0 lead. So a 1-run Marlins lead as we go to the 4th. And Cody Ross, a batter. He grounded out the shortstop his first time up. Kyle Kendrick is on the mound. He's got a new breath of life now. Here comes the wind, the pitch. And it's low and a ball. We'll pause for station identification on the Marlins Radio Network.
You're listening to Marlins Baseball on WAXY South Miami. This is your Marlins station, 790 The Ticket, of Lincoln Financial Group station.
Kendrick's next pitch, breaking ball over. 1 ball, 1 strike to Cody. Then Mike Stanton, and then Ronnie Paulino. Sun setting far to our west. Lights have been on since the game started. Still tough on a pop-up. Here comes the pitch and a called strike at the knees. And 1-2 on Cody Ross from Kyle Kendrick, who gave up a home run to Gabby Sanchez in the first inning, an RBI double to Ronnie Paulino in the second that scored Mike Stanton, who reached on an infield hit, his first major league hit. And an error by Howard put Sanchez on in the 3rd, and Hanley Ramirez hit a home run. That accounts for the 4 the Marlins have up on the board. 4 runs, 4 hits. Both teams have made an error. Phillies 3 runs, 5 hits, including a home run by Ryan Howard. Now 2-2 to Cody. Kendrick to the plate, and it's low and outside. That's a ball. Full count to Cody Ross here. Try to see what's going on in the game down in the nation's capital here in a few minutes. Check in on that. The wind and the pitch to Cody. That's low and outside. He's on with a leadoff walk here in the 4th inning. So the Marlins are handed a free pass by Kyle Kendrick. And here's Mike Stanton up for his 2nd major league plate appearance. Chopped the ball over Kendrick, beat out an infield hit in the 2nd, and scored on the Paulino double. That all happened with 2 outs in the inning. Stanton, right-hand batter, hit .311 for Jacksonville. 21 home runs to lead all of professional baseball. 52 batted in. In addition, he had 12 doubles, a couple of triples. 52 games at Jacksonville. 20-year-old rookie. Here's the pitch to Mike Stanton, and it's right on the outside corner, about knee-high, and a called strike. Stanton, the youngest, 2nd youngest player to debut with the Marlins. Miguel Cabrera was 20 years, 63 days when he debuted. The pitch. Stanton takes a strike. 0-2. And Mike Stanton is 20 years, 212 days. A check at first. Kendrick delivers. Stanton swings and misses, and he's down on strikes. This is 2nd time up in the big leagues. Ronnie Paulino doubled in the 2nd, and he'll bat here. Paulino picking up his 25th run batted in. Mentioned earlier, Mike Stanton's dad here to see him in his debut. Over at first, Howard right on the bag to hold Cody. And Kendrick throws over that way, and Cody's able to step back to the bag.
I'm guessing it's cooler for Dad to watch his son play in his first Major League game than it is for his son to play in his first Major League game.
There have probably been some exceptions to that. Here comes the pitch. And there's a ground ball, base hit out into left. That gets past Polanco, who went to his left and tried to field that. And Paulino is 2 for 2. Cody down to second. And Chris Volstad will try to help himself and move the runners over. 1 out, runners at first and second for the Marlins.
I'm talking like a dad.
Well, I mean, there are some dads who can't even sit still and watch their sons play.
Right.
And have to walk around the ballpark and
moms and wives
stay on the move, and they don't want to be near anybody that they know, and they're a nervous wreck.
Well, I go through that in Little League. Forget about the major leagues.
Right.
Yeah.
But Mike's dad, who is also Mike Stanton, Mike's dad appears very, obviously very happy.
SoCal
very
cool.
proud, and SoCal cool. Here's the pitch. And that's up high to Volstad, who shows bunt. They kept the third baseman home. Had Howard coming in, which means Kendrick would handle anything on the third base side of the pitcher's mound. Volstad, a 1-5-3 out his first time up. Has 3 sacrifice bunts this year. And the pitch. And it's in tight on a ball. You know, we're talking about Mike Stanton. Geff and I talked about it before the game, and Geff did the research and found that 105 Major League players have hit a home run in his first Major League at-bat. That didn't happen for Mike Stanton, but he got an infield hit. Here's a ball bunted, third base side. Kendrick up with it. Looks at third, nobody there. Throws to first. It's dropped by Utley. And the bases are loaded for the Marlins. So the Phil's bunt defense came undone. Kendrick fielded that ball as though he expected Polanco to be at third. He turned and looked, but Polanco was almost beside him, a little bit behind him, who he had come over also to field the ball. Then he threw to Utley covering at first base, and it popped out of Utley's mitt. So Kendrick's got a real mess on his hands now, and a great opportunity for the Marlins. So that's going to go as, I believe, a sacrifice and an error.
Probably an E4. They put the E up. Not sure if it went on the pitch or on the throw. The throw wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
I would imagine it's got to be sacrifice E4.
They just announced it, but I wasn't able to hear it.
Sacrifice E1. They do hang the error on Kendrick.
Okay, so Kendrick is charged with the error for now anyway. Volstad at first, Paulino at second, Ross at third. Base is full for Chris Coghlan, who's hit the ball hard twice and lined to left and lined to second. The left-hand hitter stands in, smash. Past the glove of the pitcher, Kendrick to center field, base hit. Cody's home to score. Behind him, Paulino will score, and the Marlins add 2 more and have a 6-3 lead. So Coghlan smacks that ball right up the middle. I thought Kendrick made contact with that ball. Yeah, he did. So off the pitcher's glove, a hard hit ball. So Chris has had 3 good at-bats. And he's hit the ball hard 3 times. He's 1 for 3, and now he picks up a couple of RBIs. So the Marlins add 2 more on the board here in the 4th inning, lead 6-3. The pitch is low, and a ball to Gabby Sanchez, who homered in the first, reached on E3 in the third, and was on base for the Hanley Ramirez homer. Volstad stopped at second on the play, so the runners are at first and second, Coghlan and Volstad. Ball 1, no strikes to Gabby Sanchez. When Miguel Cabrera came up and made his debut as a 20-year-old, he came up June 20th, 2003 to play against Tampa Bay. It was game number 75 of the Marlins playing schedule that year. Mike Stanton comes up tonight for game number 59. So a little earlier on the call up for Stanton here on the 8th of June. And again for Miguel, it was June 20th. And it was an unforgettable debut in many ways. The pitch is low and outside and the ball. All the excitement about Cabrera, his terrific minor league numbers coming up. And he went 0 for 4, his first 4 times up. But he came to bat in the bottom of the 11th inning with the game tied at 1. Here's the pitch, the called strike. After Alex Gonzalez, the Marlins shortstop at the time, had doubled. And Miguel Cabrera hit a home run off Al Levine and a walk-off homer to boot in his major league debut game. And a 3-1 Marlins 11-inning win over Tampa Bay.
What a lot of folks might not remember is Cabrera was hitting 8th when he debuted with the Marlins back in 03. And he hit 8th for a while, gradually worked his way up the lineup.
The pitch and a called strike. Sometimes managers and organizations feel that a comfortable, less responsible spot in the batting order is the best thing for a young player in his first game or 2 or 3 or whatever. Here's the pitch to Gabby. A swing and a high pop fly down the right field line coming over. Francisco sliding into foul ground and unable to get it.
I was talking to Freddie about just that before the game today, and he said something interesting. He's gone back in recent days and done some research, looking at all the great sluggers in the game, not just today, but in the last 20, 30 years even, to see where did they hit when they first got to the major leagues. He was talking about guys playing now like Ryan Braun and Ryan Howard and Prince Fielder and Albert Pujols. He said, I even went back to Dave Winfield because there have been some Dave Winfield comparisons and talking about Mike Stanton. And he said basically what he sees is guys who came out of college tended to drop into the 3, 4, 5 spots a lot quicker than guys who signed out of high school.
As Mike Stanton did.
Yep.
The pitch to Gabby, and it's popped up shallow right. Going back, Utley, he's called off by Francisco, and the right fielder makes the catch on the pop-up. So now there are 2 outs. The Marlins have a 6-3 lead here in the 4th, and Hanley will bat. He homered in the 3rd. Coghlan at first base, Volstad at second base, 2 down, and Hanley coming up against Kyle Kendrick. Mike Stanton, the number 2 pick in 2007. Matt Dominguez was the number 1 pick, the outstanding young third baseman. Also a Californian. Here's the pitch, and it is taken and a called strike on Hanley. Hanley's home run in the 3rd, his 9th of the season, and RBIs number 30 and 31. Nothing in 1, the count. Kendrick sets, deals, and Hanley takes, and that's outside.
Stanton went to the same high school as Brett Hayes, the Marlins backup catcher now, and Brett Hayes took him out and bought him a suit today. First day in the big leagues, got to dress like a big leaguer, got that flight coming up Thursday night, so they went out and did a little shopping today.
Here comes the 1-1 pitch, and there's a called strike. Mike Stanton's first day in the big leagues was an off day yesterday, and he hung around with some of the players that he knows, like Brett Hayes and Jay Bente. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The count on Ramirez. The pitch low and outside, and a good scoop by the catcher Carlos Ruiz to keep that ball from getting by to the backstop. Might have advanced Chris Volstad. You never know when pitchers are on the base paths, but Coghlan would have taken his cue from Chris Volstad.
You've been selected to participate in a short 30.
Kendrick set, checks the lead runner, Chris Volstad. Now the pitch to Hanley, and that's running up and in, and a ball. Hanley turned away from that, and it's 3-2. Cantu on deck if Hanley keeps things going here. Mike Stanton grew up in the Los Angeles area, born and raised in a little town just north of Burbank, California, outside of Los Angeles. Spent most of his youth in Sunland, California. Here's the pitch. A swing and a ball hit on a line to the left fielder, Ibanez. He goes 2 steps to his left, and he's got it for the 3rd out. And Ramirez leaves 2, but the Marlins scored 2 on a total of 2 runs in the inning, taking advantage of an error and leaving a couple of men on base. And midway in the 4th inning of play, 6-3 Marlins on the Florida Marlins Radio Network. Into the bottom of the 4th here. Dave Van Horn along with Glenn Geffner, and we're at Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia. First of 3 with the Phillies. A little bit of a breeze tonight, left to right for the most part. Game time temperature right in the mid-70s. Lights are on. Still some sunlight overhead. It'll be Carlos Ruiz, Kyle Kendrick, and Shane Victorino for the Phillies here. Don't believe they've had anybody up in their bullpen. They have not. Volstad goes to work on Ruiz. There's a called strike. This is one of those innings we talk about all the time. Volstad really needs a shutdown inning against the Phils here. The pitch, and that's low and outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ball got away from Paulino. Be there for the fun of the 2010 Marlins Mermaids Fashion Show, Friday, June 11th at MI6 at Gulfstream Park. See the unveiling of the official Marlins calendar. Admission is free, open to ages 18 and over. Doors open at 8:30. The show starts at 9. Call the Marlins for details, 1-877-MARLINS. Pitch is lifted in the air to right. Back a few steps, Stanton, edge of the warning track. He's got it. There's his first play in the outfield. Put that away with ease. And 1 down, and Kyle Kendrick will be the batter. Philly pitcher grounded out to first base in the 2nd inning. This copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of the Florida Marlins LP and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Florida Marlins LP. The pitch and a called strike on Kendrick. Right-hand hitter who's 1 for 19 now on the year. Shane Victorino out to the on-deck circle. Kendrick looks at strike 2.
You talk to people about Mike Stanton's defense, and the first thing you hear is he's a great athlete, and he's a very hard worker.
There's a slow roller to the third base side. Cantu picks it up, throws to first. It's dug out there by Gabby Sanchez, and that's a terrific play on both ends. 5-3. Cantu. Was it touched by Volstad?
Yeah, that went off Volstad's leg.
Okay, off his leg, so 1-5-3.
Nice play, though. On Stanton, they say he's not going to win a Gold Glove at this point, but he's working very hard in his defense, and he's going to hold his own in the outfield. He's played mostly right field, a little bit of center, and a little bit of left in the minor leagues. No center field this year. He's got a pretty good arm, they say. Not a great arm, but people aren't going to take advantage of him.
Ball again in the air to right. This time Stanton going back. It is hit deep, and it's gone. Over Stanton's head, over the fence, and a home run for Shane Victorino. 2nd home run tonight for the Phillies, and they pulled it within 2 at 6-4 Marlins.
Well, in the 3rd inning, 2 outs, nobody on, and the Phillies scored 3 runs. Now here in the 4th, 2 outs, nobody on, and Victorino goes deep.
His 10th of the year, his 36th RBI. 2-run lead for Volstad in the 4th inning. Placido Polanco has struck out and popped up. Volstad's 65th pitch in there and a called strike. So let's see what we've got going at Washington is a 2-1 Pittsburgh lead on the Delwyn Young home run. There's a called strike. Strasburg 5 innings, 2 runs, 4 hits, hasn't walked anybody. He's got 8 strikeouts in the 5 innings. Ryan Zimmerman has homered for the Nationals run. 2-1 Pittsburgh. They're playing in the 5th at Nationals Park. 1 ball, 2 strikes now to Polanco. Polanco, who last December signed as a free agent. Here's the pitch. A swing and a foul. So they've again changed third baseman in Philadelphia during the offseason, going from Pedro Feliz to Placido Polanco.
Polanco, the leader at third base in All-Star voting. The new results came out today. Hanley's taken over the lead at shortstop, passing Jimmy Rollins.
And that's good news. Means Marlins fans are getting their votes in, and baseball fans are looking more closely at the ballot and realizing, well, now wait a minute. I like Rollins, but he's played in 11 games. Two balls, two strikes to Polanco. The pitch and a tapper. No, it didn't make contact. The ball bounces away from Paulino, but it was a full swing by Polanco. He got way out in front with the bat, goes down on strikes, but is thrown out 2-3 for the putout. So 1 run, a home run by Shane Victorino, and at the end of 4, the Marlins have a 6-4 lead on the Marlins Radio Network. Jorge Cantu will lead off the 5th inning for the Marlins, who have a 6-4 lead. San Diego's at New York at Citi Field. They're in the bottom of the 5th inning. Padres lead the Mets 1-0 behind Clayton Richard. Here's Kendrick's pitch, and it's inside to Cantu, ball 1. Giants at Cincinnati have a 1-0 lead with Matt Cain on the mound. Cubs are at Milwaukee. They've just started that game. And the pitch. And that caught the inside corner, a called strike. Ted Lilly against Giovanni Gallardo. And other games have Houston at Colorado. Brian Moeller and Jeff Francis at Coors. The pitch swung on a miss. Atlanta's out in Arizona. Chris Medlin against Edwin Jackson. And then later, the Cardinals and the Dodgers. Chris Carpenter against Hiroki Kuroda. The pitch to Cantu. And that's low and inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Jorge. He struck out in the 1st inning, lined out to center field in the 3rd inning. He has hit in 7 in a row. The pitch. Jorge swings and hits a 2-hopper short hop at 3rd by Polanco, charging the ball, and throws to 1st to retire Jorge Cantu. 1 down in the Marlins 5th. Over in the American League, Boston is at Cleveland with a 3-1 lead. They're in the top of the 5th inning. The Yankees are playing over at Camden Yards. They have the Orioles 6-0 in the bottom of the 4th. Tampa Bay leads Toronto down at the Trop 1-0. They're into the 4th inning there. Seattle and Texas scoreless, just underway down in Arlington, Texas. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 1 to Dan Uggla, who's flied out twice to center, the last time to deep center field. The Tigers with Armando Galarraga on the mound up against the White Sox. The pitch swung on a miss. Galarraga's first start since his perfect game. There wasn't such a thing in baseball until his start. 2 strikes on Dan Uggla. Here's the pitch. A swing and a pop-up down the right field line. It's going to be back out of play. Kansas City and Minnesota, they've just started up. Late tonight, the Angels and the A's out at Oakland. We're up to date on the out-of-town scores, and we'll stay on top of that Strasburg game for you. Right now, the Pittsburgh Pirates shocking the baseball world with a 2-1 lead on Strasburg and the Nationals at Nationals Park. The pitch to Uggla swung on, missed, and Dan goes down on strikes. His batting average over the last 18 games has now slipped under 200. So right now the Marlins have several hitters struggling. Hanley's shown signs of perhaps coming out of that with a long ball tonight. But Hanley has struggled. Dan, here's Cody Ross. He's 0 for 1. He walked his last time and scored. He's been fairly consistent of late. Here's a high pop-up behind home plate. Ruiz back near the screen, looking, reaching, and he can't get to it. He is separated from the ball by the screen.
I think really, if you look at this Marlins lineup, top to bottom, who's been more consistent than Cody Ross since the start of the season? He really took off in late April. Since about the time we were at Coors Field, he's hitting about 340.
I would qualify that by saying, and I agree with you, by saying of the everyday player.
Right.
Because Ronnie Paulino, when he's played, has been very consistent. Yep. He has not gone 2 games without a hit this season, Paulino. But he hasn't played every day, and Cody has, and so your point is well made, and I agree. He has been the most consistent day in, day out. 0 for 1 tonight, as I mentioned. 1 ball, 1 strike to Cody. Kendrick taking all kinds of time, and he and Cody look like statues right now. Oh, now we have some animation and a pitch and a swing and a ground ball to short. Up with this, Valdez fires to first for out number 3, and a 1-2-3 inning for Kyle Kendrick, his first such inning of the night. And midway in the 5th, the Marlins 6 and the Phillies 4 on the Marlins radio network. Into the bottom of the 5th inning of this broadcast and every Marlins broadcast, brought to you by your good friends at Subway. Play hard, eat fresh at Subway. Chase Utley, 1 out of 2, had a single in front of the Ryan Howard home run in the 3rd inning. Left-hand hitting second baseman stands in. 6-4 Marlins. Volstad dealing low and outside in the ball. By the way, our look at the out-of-town scores always brought to you by Corona. Kick back and relax with an ice cold Corona and lime. Relax responsibly. The pitch. And that missed low outside. Utley, Howard, and Francisco here in the 5th inning for the Phillies, who have dropped 13 of their last 19 games. Volstad's next pitch, number 73, on the way, and it's fouled off. Out of play, way up above third base. Last 19 games, the Phillies have been outscored. Let's see, I'll update this. They have been outscored 80 to 45. They have scored 1 run or less 10 times, been shut out 5 times. There's a drive out to right field. It's going to be off the wall. And playing the Karen perfectly, Stanton. And he throws back in, and that holds Utley to a single. So this will be a very testy inning for Chris Volstad, inning number 5. Volstad, who came into the game 3-6, having lost his last 5 decisions, was given a 4-0 lead, and it is now 6-4. Ryan Howard put 2 on the board with his 10th home run of the year in the 3rd inning. Howard's 5th career home run off Chris Volstad. 27th of his career against the Marlins, and it was number 19 in this ballpark. There's a throw to first base. Utley ducks back in. Now, when the Phils were in Miami, I said that Utley's probably not a threat to go because at the time I think he was 1 out of 1 in stolen base attempts. Now he's 2 out of 1, but believe me, he's a threat to go even with Howard up there. The pitch is fouled off.
No, one of his 2 stolen bases in that last start with Volstad on the mound. So you know he feels like he can steal second base against Chris.
Yeah.
Talk about that stretch where the Phillies have dropped 13 out of 19. They're 2-7 within the division in that stretch, including sweeps by the Braves and the Mets. The Mets shut them out 3 straight games. So not only are they losing, but they're losing a lot of games to the teams they're in direct competition with in the National League East.
Howard, who walked his first time and then homered, has hit safely in 7 straight now. Here's the pitch to Howard. Way inside. He has to jackknife to get out of the way. Well, let's look at the Phillies against the East. They're under 500, 13-14. They've lost 5 out of 9 to the Braves. They're 3-3 with the Marlins. They've lost 4 out of 6 to the Mets. And the only winning record they have would be their 4 wins in 6 games against the Nationals. There's a ground ball hit to the right side. Up with it, Uggla. Flips down to second. The ball is dropped by Hanley, who got stepped on or kicked on the slide by Utley, and everybody's safe. Looked like the Marlins were going to have possibly 2. And they wound up getting nothing. And that was actually Cantu who fielded that ball.
It was a little confusing with the shift with Uggla and Cantu coming together. The Marlins are fortunate that Utley didn't realize there was nobody at third base. After he was safe at second, because Hanley was hobbled, because Cantu was on the other side of the infield, and Paulino hadn't moved from home plate at that point, third base was wide open, but Utley didn't take advantage. Remember Johnny Damon in the World Series last year against the Phillies, stealing second base on a shift, getting up and going straight to third. Nobody was there.
Yeah. Utley popped up, took a look around to find the ball, first of all. He wanted to know where the ball was and if the ball was in play, because that was in and out of Hanley's glove. Utley kind of kicked the ball, and he saw it roll away from Hanley. But then when he got up, he looked at third, but did nothing with that look. Stayed right there at second. So Howard is aboard, and they finally made the scoring call, E4. So Howard is on a fielder's choice. Utley is safe on E4. And Ben Francisco, the batter, 1 out of 2. Volstad to the plate. And the right-hand hitter takes low. It's blocked by the catcher, Ronnie Paulino. Good play by Paulino to block that. Ball 1, no strikes. Nobody out for the Phillies. They're down by 2, and they have 2 runners on.
Nationals have regained the lead for Steven Strasburg. Adam Dunn, a 2-run homer in the 6th. 3-2 Washington over Pittsburgh. Strasburg, 11 strikeouts through 6 innings. 2 runs on 4 hits, no walks.
Here's the 1-0 pitch. And that's low, scooped up by Paulino. 2 balls, no strikes. Ben Francisco, the batter. Howard at first. Utley at second. Left-hand hitter Raul Ibanez on deck. Inning number 5 here in Philly. The pitch low. Ball 3. So now Chris is in danger of loading them up. Isn't this the hitter he should be coming right after? Throw the good sinker. Try to get Francisco to hit a double play ball. But he's been nibbling away, working to keep the ball down. I realize that, but he's nibbled. And now he walks Francisco, and the bases are loaded with nobody out.
So Chris feels like after the leadoff hit by Utley, he got the ground ball, maybe should have had the double play. He didn't get it. There was an error in there, some adversity to deal with. But now you've got to bounce back and handle that adversity and get the next man and get out of this inning instead of making things worse for yourself. Now he walks the next man, a guy who doesn't play a whole lot, who's hitting just .233 coming in, who's already hit into a double play in this game, and now he's got the bases loaded and nobody out.
Well, Randy St. Clair, the pitching coach, has gone out for a quick visit. We can check out the standings brought to you by the Ace Underwriting Group, insurance for all of Florida, because Florida is all they insure. Visit the Ace Underwriting Group at underwriting.com. Well, the National League East headed up by the Atlanta Braves, a 2-game lead on these Phillies. New York 2.5 back, the Marlins 5 back, and then Washington 6 games back. Cincinnati leads the Central. San Diego leads the West. We'll get to the American League in a moment. Bases are full. Ibanez steps in. He is 2 for 2. 6-4 Marlins. Volstad to the plate. Ibanez swings. Base. No. Ground ball left side. Hanley has it. Throws to second base. And that throw is not in time at second. And a diving stop for the throw by Uggla at second base. A run scores and the bases are still loaded on an infield hit. So it was a hit for Ibanez, but it didn't get through to the outfield because Hanley dove for it. Here comes Freddie. That's it for Volstad.
Now, if nothing else, Hanley saved the run, at least for now, by keeping that ball in the infield. It was a great effort on his part, but that's going to be it for Volstad.
Yeah, that was a super effort. I mean, I was convinced that was a base hit, which it was, but it didn't get to the outfield. So the bases are still full, and Volstad's out of the game. Remember, Chris let a 4-0 lead get away, and all of a sudden it was 4-3. The Marlins put 2 more up on the board, but Chris let another one in, and the Marlins scored. Didn't score in the 5th inning, but now in the bottom of the 5th inning, the Phillies getting right back in it again. So the Marlins go to the bullpen. It's the PCS call to the Bulls comes into the game for the Marlins, and now the Marlin lead is 1 again, this time 6-5. But the Phillies have the bases loaded and nobody out. And Wilson Valdez coming up against Brian Sanchez. Brian Sanchez into his 17th game, a 3.95 earned run average, no decisions. He's worked 13 2/3. The league has accumulated 14 hits against him in those 13 2/3. He's walked as many as he has struck out, 9. And in 13 2/3, he's allowed 6 earned runs. Thus that 3.95 ERA. But Brian Sanchez is capable of making some good pitches. We'll see if he can do that here. He certainly needs to, if the Marlins are to protect what is now a 1-run lead. Game in which they led 4-0. Wilson Valdez is 1 for 2, and here's the pitch to the right-hand hitting shortstop. Ground ball slowly hit to the left side. Hanley to Ugla, a 1-hop toss. Run scores, we're tied, but they got an out at second base. Valdez on a fielder's choice picks up the RBI. It's his 8th. Howard scores from third base. The ball just not hit nearly hard enough to get 2. And they were lucky to get 1 because Hanley's toss was in the dirt. Base is still full. Valdez at first, Ibanez at second, Francisco at third. Tied at 6, and Carlos Ruiz a batter. First and third. Ibanez forced 6-4. Here's the pitch. And a pop foul back out of play. This goes to the right, second level.
You got the pitcher spot on deck. Ross Gload has come out on deck to hit, so you can't look at this inning as though you get Ruiz to get out of the mess. With Kendrick coming up, bullpen is busy. Kendrick probably done for the night at this point.
Need a routine double play ball here. Sanchez straightens the high set and the pitch, and a swing and a foul back to the screen. 0-2 on Ruiz. Ruiz was walked intentionally in the second inning. He flied out to right field leading off the 4th inning. This is his 3rd time up. So now the Marlins, over the course of the first 5 innings, actually they did the scoring in the first 4, but the Marlins have batted for 5 innings and scored 6 runs, and it's gotten them nowhere. Time given to the hitter. Plate umpire Ted Barrett.
And the Phillies have scored 6 runs in the game for just the 2nd time since May 17th. They haven't scored more than 6 in the game since May 17th, and they scored 12 against Pittsburgh. This is a week's worth of offense all of a sudden for the Phillies.
Yeah. Volstad's record is not complete, 4+ innings, because Francisco at third belongs to him. So does Valdez at first base. Here's the pitch, and that's low and outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Darkness descending on the greater Philadelphia area now. Game 1 of this 3-game series. Packed house. Here's the pitch. Fastball missed inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Ruiz, the right-hand hitting catcher who came into the game batting .300. Ruiz been tough on the Marlins. Coming into the game, 5 for 12 against the Marlins this year. But that's now 5 for 13 with the fly ball out tonight. Here's the pitch. And a check swing. And a peel at first. No swing. 3-2. On deck, a pinch hitter. Former Marlin left-hand hitter Ross Glode out at the on-deck circle. Here comes a big pitch for Sanchez. He got set and then stepped off and looked over at first base. Only 1 out here. But he still needs the double play ball to get out of this and leave the left-hand batter Ross Glode at the on-deck circle. The pitch, a swing and a line drive center field, breaking in. Cody, he's got it. Tagging at third is the runner there, Francisco, and he puts on the brakes halfway home and scoots back to third. Cody charging the ball and unleashed a very accurate throw on the line to home plate. And so that was huge. Ruiz lines out to center, 2 down, and Francisco, who was tagging, goes back to third. And here's Ross Glode. Well, the Marlins saw Ross Glode succeed in this kind of a situation time and time again last year when he amassed 21 pinch hits. He's batting here in the bottom of the 5th inning in a tie game, 2 outs, 1st and 3rd for the Phillies. And the pitch to Glode, and it's taken outside and ball 1. Ross Glode has 5 hits in 27 at-bats as a Philly, including 2 pinch hit home runs and 6 runs batted in. That's all of his pinch hit work. 5 for 27. The pitch, that's high and outside. He's had a total of 41 at-bats and 8 hits. So his overall number, a 195 average, 2 homers, 7 batted in. Glode hitting for Kyle Kendrick, so both teams now into the bullpens. Here's Sanchez working. Glode swings and misses. 2 balls and a strike to Ross Glode, who steps out. The left fielder Chris Coghlan a few steps to left center. Cody Ross a few steps to right center. And the right fielder Mike Stanton also a couple of steps to right center. Sanchez ready. The pitch. A swing here and a high pop fly. Coghlan wants this in left center. He comes in, he's under it, and has it for the 3rd out. And that's really good work by Brian Sanchez to get out of that and preserve the tie. Volstad allows 2 runs on 2 hits, and there are 2 stranded by Sanchez. And at the end of 5 innings of play, we're tied at 6 in Philadelphia on the Marlins Radio Network.
Oh, when the Marlins and the Phillies got together in Miami a couple of weekends ago, the 2 teams combined for 7 runs in 3 days worth of baseball. Tonight we begin the 6th inning in Game 1 of this 3-game series. And we've got a 6-6 contest, 12 runs on the board. The Marlins and the Phillies. The Marlins with 1 in the 1st, 1 in the 2nd, 2 in the 3rd, and 2 in the 4th. They led this game at 1.4 to nothing. Phillies with 3 in the 3rd, 1 in the 4th, and 2 in the 5th. Both starters out of the ball game. Now right-hander Chad Durbin on to take over for Kyle Kendrick for Philadelphia. Kendrick allowed 6 runs, 5 earned on 6 hits over 5 innings. A walk, 4 strikeouts, 2 home runs, 79 pitches, 52 strikes. Mike Stanton, the first man to face Durbin, and the first pitch is tapped foul off to the left of the plate, strike 1. Stanton, an infield hit in his first big league at bat in the 2nd inning. Struck out in the 4th. Durbin 0-1 at 2.96 ERA as he pitches for the 24th time. The 0-1 to Stanton, a fastball, a little bit high. Durbin 27 in the 3rd innings of work. He's given him 9 runs on 20 hits. He's walked 10. He struck out 25. Opponents batting .204 against this right-hander. Now the 1-1 to Stanton, swing and a miss at a breaking ball. Stanton, Paulino in the pitcher spot due here in the 6th inning. Marlins have a right-hander up in the bullpen. Looks like Jorge Sosa. Stanton takes outside and low, 2-2 now. So Sanchez most likely gone after facing 3 hitters. He got them all out. Durbin's 2-2 on the way, and Stanton takes too far outside. Mike Stanton, 6'5", 240 pounds. Playoff pitch coming in the air to right field, backing up on it. Francisco now coming in on it, fooled by the big swing, makes the catch. So Stanton 1 for 3 in his big league debut, and here's Ronnie Paulino. From advanced storage systems, to hydraulic shears, to pneumatic tools, and even high-tech security, Stanley is way more than just great hand tools. Stanley, the official tools of the 2010 Marlins. Paulino's 2 for 2 tonight. His average on the rise. Fouls one back, strike 1. Doubled in a run in the 2nd. Singled and scored in the 4th. He's at 319 now. He's knocked in at least 1 run in 8 consecutive starts with the RBI here tonight. Takes inside and low. Mentioning the Marlins on deck, you may not have been with us. John Baker had a little bit of a setback on his rehab at Jupiter yesterday. 1-1 to Paulino. Fastball taken high. Paulino's seen the bulk of the action behind the plate with Baker on the disabled list since mid-May. Baker DH'd a couple of times in the Florida State League and was slated to catch last night for the Hammerheads. Now the 2-1 is a strike at the knees over the outside corner, 2-2. Doing some throwing work before the ball game, though. Developed some soreness in that forearm, which has been bothering him really since spring training. They shut him down, sent him to see the doctor today. No update for you at this point. Got to be concerned about John Baker. He had rested for a long time. Now the 2-2. Paulino swings and misses. Pitch down and in. And he is the 5th Marlins strikeout victim of the night, the 1st for Durbin. With 2 outs and the bases empty. Here's Emilio Bonifacio back from AAA New Orleans tonight. Bonifacio, as a switch hitter, really the only left-handed hitter on Freddie Gonzalez's bench right now. Why, that bench had been such a strength the last couple of years for the Marlins. A little bit depleted right now. Pitch to Bonnie, grounded right at the first baseman. Howard, he's got it a step from first base. Steps on the bag, and on one pitch, Bonifacio's out. Marlins go quickly against Durbin in the top of the 6th. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left. We've played 5.5 in Philly, all knotted up at 6 apiece. The Marlins and the Phils on the Marlins Radio Network. In a 6-6 ball game, we move from the bottom of inning number 6 here in Philadelphia. The Marlins and the Phillies beginning a 3-game series here tonight. Night has fallen on Philly. And Jorge Sosa into the ball game now for the Marlins. The 3rd Florida pitcher. Chris Volstad went 4 innings plus. Gave up 8 hits and 6 runs, 5 earned. Walked 3, struck out 2, threw a wild pitch. 82 pitches, 46 strikes. He was staked to a 4-0 lead after 2.5. Couldn't make it hold up. Ryan Sanchez, 1 scoreless inning, faced 3 men, got them all out in the 5th, taking over for Volstad in that inning. And now Sosa, who last pitched in New York on Saturday, worked a 1-2-3 inning with 1 strikeout in that ball game, a 6-1 Marlins loss to the Mets. Top of the order, Shane Victorino, who hit a solo home run in the 4th inning, 1 out of 3 tonight. His 10th long ball of the year. Cantu in on the grass at 3rd base. Sanchez in a step or 2 at 1st. Victorino not showing bunt. Takes up high ball 1. We talked a lot about the Phillies' recent offensive woes as a team, hitting .211 and averaging 2.2 runs per game in their last 19 games, going 6-13 in that stretch. 1-0 to Victorino, up and away for a ball. You talk about this Phillies lineup, and you talk about kind of the Big Five. You know, the Big Five, they talk about college basketball in Philadelphia, the famous legendary Big Five. 2-0 pitch to Victorino is Outside ball 3 from Sosa. Well, the Phillies' big five, Howard, Utley, Worth, Ibanez, and Victorino, in these last 19 games have hit collectively just .215. Now the 3-ball offering in there for a strike from Sosa. The 5 of them in 19 games have combined for 7 homers and a total of 32 runs batted in. That production, a far cry from what you'd expect from those All-Stars and former MVPs and future MVPs. There's a ball outside, a 5-pitch walk to Victorino, not the way Sosa wanted to get things started. Phillies, who have never led in this game, have the go-ahead man at first with nobody out here in the 6th, and Polanco coming up. Polanco, a guy you can hit and run with. Can do a lot of things with this very talented right-handed hitter. Puts the bat on the ball, rarely strikes out. He's 0 for 3 in this one. Polanco didn't play when the Phillies were in Florida a couple of weekends ago. He had missed 6 games, in fact, before coming back Friday against the Padres. Had a good weekend against San Diego. Sosa's pitch to him is inside for a ball. Polanco had a bruised and inflamed left elbow. He had originally hurt the elbow when he was hit by a pitch. He aggravated it leaping for a line drive in the field. Missed almost a week. Tossed to first, back to the bag Victorino, who's stolen 13 bases this year, caught only once. Victorino ranks among the league leaders in stolen bases, tied for 3rd, trailing only Michael Bourne of the Astros, who's got 19, and Jose Reyes, who has 14 for the Mets. Polanco just 2 for 16 against Marlins pitching this year. Sosa sets the belt pitch coming. Polanco tries to bunt his way on, and he lets it foul off toward the third base dugout.
Walks have become a very big problem, haven't they? Here's a leadoff walk in a tie game, and we don't know what's going to happen yet. Maybe Jorge Sosa's going to handle this, but as you recall, on Sunday afternoon, a leadoff walk in the 8th inning led to the win for the Mets.
And there were Hensley on the mound.
A 1-out walk to them in the Friday night game in the 6th inning of the game led to a win for the Mets.
Sosa ready, the 1-1. Polanco takes a fastball away. That Sosa fastball at 93 miles per hour. The walks are a problem, no question. Sosa, by the way, making appearance number 5 as a Marlin, 1-1, a 5.06 ERA. The walk he allowed here, just his 2nd in 5 1/3 innings as a Marlin. 3 hits, 3 runs, 2 Ks. Throw to first high. Sanchez has to come off the bag to prevent that one from sailing away. For the Marlins, 6 runs, 6 hits, 2 errors. For the Phillies, 6 runs, 8 hits. They've also made 2 errors. A sloppy ball game. Walks, errors. Lone lead, the 2-1, line to right at the base hit. Rolling toward the corner. Can Stanton cut it off? Yeah, he will along that side wall. Victorino's in at 3rd. The throw behind Polanco at first. He dives back in safely with a single as Stanton got over there in a hurry. Was able to keep that one from going to the corner. Had it gotten into the corner, Victorino would have scored, and Polanco would have been at 2nd. So now in a 6-6 game, the Phillies have the tie-breaking run 90 feet away. And here comes Utley. Star selection. 4 straight Silver Slugger Award, 2nd base. One of the real greats in the game. He's been slumping horribly lately, but he's 2 for 3 tonight. Singles his last 2 times. Runs scored both times. Infield at double play depth for the Marlins. Sanchez holds against Polanco at first. Victorino, the go-ahead man, at 3rd. A walk and a single, putting Phillies runners at 1st and 3rd. Sosa stays out of the stretch. Pitch to Utley. In the air to left center field. Coghlan and Ross in pursuit. Chris Coghlan is there. He's going to make the catch right in front of the warning track. Tagging 3rd, Victorino. He's going to score. Throws into 2nd. And for the first time tonight, the Phillies have the lead. Now a 7-6 ball game here in the bottom of the 6th. Throw into 2nd kept Polanco at 1st. So Utley delivers his 26th RBI. The leadoff walk comes back to haunt Sosa and the Marlins. And now, Ryan Howard to the plate. Howard hit a 2-run home run when it was a 4-0 Marlins lead in the third. He began the comeback. 1 for 2 with a walk. A couple of runs scored in this ball game. Shift is on with Polanco at first. He's stolen 3 bases. Has yet to be caught this year. Sosa's pitch to Polanco, low, ball 1. Our broadcast tonight brought to you in part by Simple Green. Use biodegradable, non-toxic Simple Green to keep your gear clean. Simple Green cleans at the speed of light. Bottom of the 6th, 7-6 Phillies. Their biggest offensive night since May 17th. The 1-0 to Howard, line down the right field line. That's in for a hit. Chasing Stanton, picks it up on the warning track. Howard's going to stop at first, but Polanco won't stop at second. He'll go to third. Second hit in the inning. Phillies to the corners. Still only 1 out for Ben Francisco. Here comes Randy St. Clair out of the dugout. And it seems, for all the heat the Marlins bullpen has come under this year, it really seems as though the nights where the bullpen has had a tough time, those have been the nights where the starting pitcher hasn't gotten deep into games. When you get into that bullpen in the 5th inning, the 6th inning, those are the nights when the Marlins have had a tough time getting 12 or 14, 15 outs out of the bullpen. And as Randy St. Clair talks things over with Jorge Sosa, we're going to step aside now, pause for station identification along the Marlins Radio Network.
You're listening to Marlins Baseball on WAXY South Miami. This is your Marlins station, 790 The Ticket, a Lincoln Financial Group station.
But now the right-handed hitter Ben Francisco to the plate. 1 for 2, a single, a walk, a stolen base, a run scored. He's also hit into a double play. Sosa would love one of those here. Polanco's at third, Howard's at first, 1 out. A run in, Phillies 7, Marlins 6. Francisco takes strike 1, a fastball that caught the inside corner just above the belt. Francisco getting the start in right field. A mental health break for Jason Worth tonight. That's what his manager called it. Worth really struggling. The 0-1 to Francisco, chopped toward third. Cantu has it to second for 1. Ugly to first for 2. Big double play. Sosa got the ground ball he needed, and the Marlins turn a huge double play. But the Phillies add a run in the bottom of the 6th. 1 run, 2 hits. They leave a man. We head to the 7th for the first time. Philadelphia in front, 7-6 Phillies on the Marlins Radio Network. Well, the Phillies have a 7-6 lead as the Marlins come to the plate in the top of the 7th here at Citizens Bank Park tonight. Chad Durbin, who came on and pitched the 6th inning, set down the side 1-2-3. Will stay out there to work the 7th with the top of the Florida order coming up. Coghlan, Sanchez, and Hanley Ramirez. We've got a Marlins Family Sunday coming up June 20th, the 1:10 game. The Marlins against the Tampa Bay Rays. Celebrate Father's Day at the ballpark as the first 5,000 dads will get a Marlins golf set, courtesy of Preferred Care Partners. That golf set includes a golf towel, a divot tool, and 2 golf balls. You can play catch with that on the field after the game. Call 1-877-MARLINS or go to marlins.com to get your Father's Day tickets the next Family Sunday, June 20th, against the Tampa Bay Rays. Chris Coghlan singled last time, knocked in a pair, takes strike 1 from Durbin. Seven runs on 10 hits for the Phillies. 6 runs, 6 hits for the Marlins as Coghlan watches low. Chris is 1 out of 3 tonight. Well, Steven Strasburg is done. He exits after 7 innings with a 4-2 lead in his big league debut against the Pirates tonight. Allowed 2 runs on 4 hits. Didn't walk anybody. Get this. He struck out 14 tonight. Did a quick search. Able to go back to 1920. 2-1 to Coghlan, fouled off. Only 2 pitchers since 1920 have struck out 14 or more in their major league debuts. Remember J.R. Richard? He struck out 15 against the Giants as an Astro back in his debut in 1971. 2-2 to Coghlan, lined over first down the right field line. Ought to be extra bases. Chris has himself another multiple hit game. Chased into the corner by Francisco. Chris wants a triple. The relay throw to Utley. The throw to third won't be in time. It gets by Polanco. Backed up, though, by the pitcher Durbin. And Chris Coughlin's in head first with a 3-base hit to begin the 7th. So just like that, the Marlins have the tying man at third with nobody out in the 7th. Chris with his 7th multiple hit game in his last 9 starts. He's 2 for 4 tonight. Now 19 hits in his last 38 at-bats. Here comes Gabby Sanchez. So 14 Ks for Strasburg. J.R. Richards struck out 15 Giants as an Astro in his big league debut back in 1971. And Carl Spooner, pitching for the Brooklyn Dodgers against the New York Giants, struck out 15 in his debut back in 1954. Here's Gabby. Takes a strike over the inside corner. Gabby homered to get the scoring started in the first inning. A solo shot. Reached on an error and scored in the third. A fly ball to right in the fourth. So 1 for 3 officially. 2 runs scored. Phillies play the infield back. They'll concede the tying run here. Gabby, big swing, and he fouls it off. So the 14 Ks for Strasburg tonight. Nobody else had struck out 14. In recent years, the closest anybody's come to that was actually a game I was at. Tim Hudson, debuting as an Oakland A in San Diego back in 1999, struck out 11 in 5 innings. That was his first big league start. 0-2 pitch to Gabby. Reaches out, fights one off to stay alive. Defensive swing on a pitch that was probably strike 3, so Gabby had to do something with it. Fought it off. Lives to fight another day. Coughlin tripling into the right field corner to begin this 7th. He's at third. Gabby will look to pick him up. Pitch coming, and he takes outside and low. Ball 1. Gabby, before the home run in the first inning tonight, had knocked in 3 runs in his last 21 games, and all 3 of them came in one game, May 23rd in Chicago against the White Sox. That was a Sunday afternoon game, the 13-0 Marlins win. 1-2 now. Gabby rolls one slowly wide of third. They're going to get the out at first. No, he's safe at first. Coughlin held up. He was indecisive, held up. Sanchez beat the throw. An infield hit. Looked like it was going to be a huge break for the Phillies because Coughlin should have run, but he didn't. As slowly as that ball was hit with the infield back, the third baseman Polanco cut in front of the shortstop. Didn't get the out at first, but the Marlins don't get the run. So a break, an infield hit. And the Marlins now at first and third. Nobody out for Hanley. With nobody out, you're not automatically running on contact if you're Chris Coughlin. But that ball was slowly hit. Wide of third. Would have scored easily. Pitch to Ramirez. Swing and a miss. He chased a breaking ball down and out of the zone. Hanley 1 for 3. A 2-run homer in the third here tonight. The ball, he rocketed out of here. Nearly hit the second deck and left. The home run, his 9th. The RBIs, numbers 30 and 31. A fake to third, a spin, a look at first, nothing going on. Gabby stolen one base. You wouldn't expect him to get too adventurous here with Hanley at the plate. Down a run in the top of the 7th. The 0-1 outside. Knocked down by the catcher Ruiz. Well, the Marlins scored a run in the first, 2 in the second, and 3 in the third. They led 4-0. Phillies came back. Howard a 2-run home run and a 3-run third. Marlins extended the lead, though, to 6-3 with 2 in the top of the fourth. Phillies got a run back in the fourth, scored twice in the fifth and once in the sixth to take the lead. Runners off at first and third. Durbin ready. The 1-1 to Ramirez. Fouled to the first base side of the screen. Count goes to 1-2. Hanley hitting just .236 with men in scoring position this season. That average actually went down a tick or two with the fly ball to left with 2 on in the fourth. He hit .373 to lead the league with men in scoring position last year. Durbin's 1-2. He takes cold strike 3 over the outside corner. Might be the exact same pitch Hanley took for called strike 3 in the first. He didn't like it then. I'll bet he likes it even less here with men at the corners and nobody out. Didn't say anything to Ted Barrett, but a very slow walk back to the plate Now the entire infield is going to converge on the pitcher's mound. Everybody. Howard, Utley, Valdez, and Polanco, along with the catcher Ruiz, as Cantu comes to the plate. Cantu, the Marlins' best RBI man, 43 of them on the year. Begins the day tied for third in the league in RBIs, just one behind Albert Pujols and Troy Glaus. Jorge hitting .406 with men in scoring position this year, third best in the National League. This is the guy who went up in this spot. Tying man at third, one out. Jorge takes a belt-high fastball, strike one. Both bullpens active. Durbin leans in for the sign. He's ready to go. Pitch to Jorge, missed away. Outfield deep. The center fielder Victorino shades toward left center against Cantu. Coghlan at third. Sanchez at first. One out in the seventh. Marlins down a run. The 1-1 to Jorge. Swinging a drive. Well hit. Deep right center field. Back goes Francisco. Onto the track. It's off the wall for extra bases. Coghlan's in from third. The carom played by Victorino. They'll hold Gabby at third base. Cantu's in at second with a game-tying double. So Jorge knocks in his 44th run to tie for the league lead. And the Marlins now with a single, a double, and a triple here in the seventh. We're all knotted up at 7. Jorge just missed a home run. Hit that one high off the wall in deep right center field. Here's Dan Ugla, second and third. One out. The infield is going to shorten up this time for the Phillies. You're more likely to bring the infield in with one out than you would be with nobody out. Well, now actually they're going to drop back up the middle. Utley and Valdez, they were in. Now some confusion. Time called. Carlos Ruiz out to the mound to talk with his pitcher Durbin. You've got first base open. Sanchez at third, Cantu at second. Ugla, the hitter, with one out. Cody Ross on deck. The Marlins scoring for the first time since the fourth inning. They've got 7 runs on 9 hits now. The Phillies 7 runs on 10 hits. Here's the pitch to Ugla. The infield back. Pitch is low, ball 1. These teams have played 6 games coming in. In the 6 games, the Marlins had hit just .209. The Phillies had hit just .204. The Marlins had scored 16 runs in 6 games. Not much. But the Phillies only 13. The 1-0 pitch to Ugla. Broken bat bouncer back to the mound. Durbin knocks it down, picks it up, throws to first. Ugla's out by a step, and the runners hold at second and third. No chance for Gabby to try to score. Ball is it right back to the mound. So Hanley and Dan Ugla have both failed to get a man in from third in this inning. Hanley striking out, taking a called third strike. Ugla breaking his bat and bouncing back to the pitcher. 2 outs, it'll be up to Cody Ross. And again, the entire infield and the catcher Ruiz all to the pitcher's mound. It would be a shame to go single, double, triple and only get 1 run out of the inning.
That's almost difficult to do.
Yeah. Coghlan led off with a triple, but he stayed at third on the infield hit by Sanchez. Hanley struck out. Cantu doubled in 1 run. Sanchez went to third. Ugla bounces out. Now Cody Ross takes low for a ball. Cody 0 for 2, a walk and a run scored. A couple of ground balls to short. We were talking earlier about Cody's consistency. Of the Marlins' everyday players, the most consistent from day 1 to day 59 of this season. And when you think about Cody Ross over the years, he's been a very streaky hitter. He's had very hot stretches, very cold stretches. Hasn't really had one of those torrid weeks yet. Just very steady. 1-0 is taken for a strike. Maybe some of Cody Ross's maturation as a hitter. Comes in hitting .338 in his last 39 games beginning April 25th. At least 1 hit in each of the last 5 games. He's knocked in 12 in his last 14. An RBI chance here. The 1-1 low and away. He bats with runners at second and third. 2 outs in the 7th. A run in. Marlins and Phillies tied at 7. Mike Stanton's on deck. Durbin ready. 2-1 to Ross. In the air, foul, out of play off to the right. Now Durbin has thrown 35 pitches now in his inning and 2/3 of work. Set down the side 1, 2, 3 in the 6th. It's been a much more challenging 7th for this right-hander, the second Phillies pitcher of the night. They've got Brad Lidge back again, anchoring their bullpen. He's pitched well since coming off the DL. He's their closer. 2-2 to Cody. Bouncing ball to the left of the second base. Utley ranging onto the outfield grass to field it. He throws the first. Cody's out by a step. And the Marlins leave 2 men in scoring position. 1 run in the inning on 3 hits. 2 huge men left on base. We hit the 7th inning stretch tonight, presented by the Dominican Republic Ministry of Tourism. The Dominican Republic has it all. And at the stretch, a 7-7 game. The Marlins and the Phillies on the Marlins Radio Network. Very well until his last time out for the Zephyrs. He was hammered by Omaha in his most recent start this past Wednesday. Vandenhurst facing Raul Ibanez, and he starts him off with strike 1. In his last start, Vandenhurst allowed 9 runs, 8 earned on 9 hits in 2 1/3 innings against that Omaha ball club. The 0-1 to Ibanez, fouled back beneath us. Ibanez 3 singles and 3 at-bats in this one. Came in just 3 for his last 28. He's knocked in a couple of the 7 Phillies runs tonight. RBI singles in the 3rd and the 5th. 0-2 from Vandenhurst. Fastball, swing and a miss. He got him to chase one up and away. Vandy can let it all hang out a little bit, pitching in relief. We've seen him almost exclusively as a starting pitcher as a Marlin. But he can reach back, and Freddie Gonzalez was talking before the game when Vandy pitched in relief this spring. He saw another 3-4 miles per hour on his fastball at times when he didn't have to pace himself. Vandenhurst only 1 relief appearance in the big leagues. It came back in his rookie year back in 2007. 32 starts, 1 relief appearance into this outing tonight. Here's Wilson Valdez, and he swings and misses, strike 1. Valdez 0 for 3, knocked in a run with a fielder's choice ground out in the 5th. Vandy's come out pounding the strike zone, but he misses here for the first time in 5 pitches. Ball 1 away. Vandenhurst out of the Netherlands. 1-1 to Valdez. In the air to right center, sinking quickly, coming over Stanton, makes the running catch. 2 down. Stanton's done a nice job in right field here tonight in his big league debut. Vandenhurst, 6'5", 219 pounds. Just turned 25 a couple of weeks ago on May 22nd. In his 8th professional season. Signed with the Marlins in November of 2002 as a 17-year-old. Was a catcher as an amateur back home in Holland. Marlins moved him to the mound. There's a strike to Carlos Ruiz. Ruiz 0 for 2 with a walk. Vandy working quickly. Pitch is fouled back to the screen. Like the tempo from Vandy here. Gets the ball back from Paulino. Right back on the rubber. Ready to go again. Here's the 0-2 pitch with 2 outs and the base is empty. Up and in. Ruiz ducks out of the way. Hit the deck. Pitcher spot due next. Greg Dobbs in the on-deck circle for the Phils. Tied at 7, bottom of the 7th. Vandy's 1-2, inside again. This one just below the belt. Nationals leading the Pirates 5-2, top of the 9th. Presumably Matt Capps on to try to close out Steven Strasburg's first big league win. 2-2 is just outside. Wow. I guess outside. Ball 3. Like a pretty good pitch. So Vandy had jumped ahead 0-2. Now the payoff pitch to Ruiz. And it's chopped foul off to the left. Marlins led 4-0. Remember, they blew a 5-0 lead in the 7-6 loss Sunday. That was the biggest lead they'd blown in a loss this year. Again, the 3-2. Down and in, ball 4. Ruiz walks. And the Phillies will go to the bench for Dobbs. Dobbs hitting for Durbin. Now Chad Durbin allows 1 run in 2 innings of relief work here tonight. allowed 3 hits, and he struck out a pair. Dobbs has struggled this year. Just 8 for 56, hitting 143 as a pinch hitter. He's just 1 out of 22. Takes a strike. Dobbs has been a terrific pinch hitter for the Phillies in the past, climbing the charts on the Phillies' all-time pinch hit leaderboard. 46 career, 5th in Phillies franchise history. His next pinch hit would tie Tim McCarver for 4th place all-time with 47. He's not going to get it here, though. Pops it up, shallow left center. Hanley's under it, and Ramirez makes the catch to retire the side. No runs or hits, a walk, and a man left in the Philadelphia 7th. A scoreless inning for Rick Vandenhurk. We're headed to the 8th in a 7-7 game. The Marlins and the Phillies on the Marlins Radio Network.
After 7 innings of play, a 7-7 tie. The Marlins and the Phillies going at it here as we begin play in the 8th inning, and Mike Stanton's going to lead it off against the new Philly pitcher, Jose Contreras. Contreras into his 22nd game, a 2-2 record, and a 1.02 earned run average. He's picked up 23 strikeouts in 17 2/3 innings while allowing just 11 hits and only 2 earned runs, a 186 batting average against. So Contreras comes on. Durbin worked 2 innings, 1 run, 3 hits, 2 strikeouts. And their third pitcher, Jose Contreras. Mike Stanton will get in. The rookie making his major league debut tonight beat out an infield hit in the 2nd inning, scored a run, struck out in the 4th. That was all against Kyle Kendrick, and he faced Chad Durbin in the 6th inning, and he flied out the right field. Now here in the 8th inning, he faces Jose Contreras. Tie game, and here's the pitch, and it's in there for a called strike. The Marlins yesterday drafted a young man out of Westlake Village, California, who is finishing up at Westlake High School, a first baseman, Christian Yelich, left-handed batter. The pitch from Contreras, and a ball sliced to right, and that's a base hit for Stanton. And the Marlins have the go-ahead run on here, and Stanton has a 2-for-4 night in his major league debut. That'll bring Ronnie Paulino to the plate. The Marlins catcher is 2 out of 3. Doubled and drove in a run in the 2nd, singled and scored in the 4th inning. And he struck out facing Durbin in the 6th inning. Now Paulino stands in here.
Mike Stanton, the 9th Marlin with at least 2 hits in his big league debut. Only one Marlin's had 3 hits in his debut. Mike Redmond back in '98.
The pitch. And a called strike, and still playing.
Yes. Although hurt, I think, right now, isn't he? I think he got hurt.
Today or last night?
Recently. I might be making that up, though.
All right. 0-1, the count on Ronnie Paulino. Paulino with a big bat. Here's the pitch, low and inside. 1 ball, 1 strike to Paulino. On deck, Brian Barden. Joe Espada, the third base coach, goes through some signs. Dave Collins over at first base talking to Mike Stanton. Howard on the bag to hold him there. Utley and Valdez at double play depth. Here's the pitch. And Paulino takes down and in. And ball 2. 2-1 to Ronnie Paulino, who has not gone 2 games without a hit this season. Of course, he's got 2 hits tonight. He's taking care of that. .250 hitter against right-hand pitching, 377 against southpaws. Ronnie Paulino. That pitch is low, ball 3, and after throwing that pitch, which he thought was a strike, Contreras stood there, stared in at the plate umpire, Ted Barrett, put his hand on his hip, and got away with it.
The umpires don't like that, do they?
They usually don't like that. I couldn't tell from here, but I don't believe Barrett said anything. 3-1, the count on the hitter, Ronnie Paulino. The pitch. Paulino swings, drives a ball high into the air, center field, but it'll be caught by Victorino. And waiting halfway between first and second, Stanton returns to first. Paulino out on a fly ball to center field. And that's going to bring Wes Helms to the plate. Helms will bat for Rick Vandenherk here in this 8th inning, trying to bust up this tie game. Mike Stanton, the runner at first base. Good runner for a big man. Wes is batting .277. 18 hits, including 4 doubles. Does not have a home run this year. He has picked up some hits while playing. He has not fared well in the pinch hit role, a role at which he has excelled for several seasons now. But this year, just 3 for 20 pinch hitting. Perhaps that makes him overdue here. The pitch to Wes, and it's low and inside, and a ball. Ball 1, no strikes to the right-hand batter. Look at the scoreboard. A mirrored image. 7 runs, 10 hits, 2 errors each side. The pitch from Contreras, and it is a little roller foul, third base side. Got about a third of the way up toward third base when it rolled foul, and Ruiz jumped on it. And Helms, who ran it out, will come back. Tonight's broadcast brought to you in part by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. And by Lauderdale Infiniti, the only Infiniti dealer on the east side of town.
You look at that scoreboard, I would think with the way both these teams have struggled to swing the bats lately, both managers are happy in that sense, but neither can be happy with the way they've pitched in this ball game tonight. Both starters really struggled. Neither bullpen's been able to lock it down either.
Pitching has not been very good, and at times the defense has faltered. Here's the pitch, and Helms takes down and in, and ball 2, 2-1 the count on Wes Helms. The Marlins coming off a bad series at Citi Field where they were swept by the Mets. This is game 1 of this 3-game set here in Philadelphia. 6 games to go, counting this one on this road trip. Here's the pitch. And Helms hits a fly ball to right. Going back, Francisco looking up, leaping, and Francisco can't get it. It's off the wall. Coming around third, being waved. Stanton. Told you he could run. He'll score standing up. Throw to third base. Head first slide. Helms is safe at third base. Wrapped the ball off the wall in right center. Knocks in Mike Stanton all the way from first base. And the Marlins have an 8-7 lead.
For Wes's first triple since 2006, and credit Stanton for getting a good read on that ball. You weren't sure initially whether that ball was going to be caught by the right fielder Francisco. Stanton read it well, was almost all the way to second base by the time that ball got past Francisco, and was able to motor around the bases.
So the Marlins with their second triple in as many innings. Chris Coghlan had a leadoff triple in the last inning. Now the Phils have to play the infield in with Chris Coghlan batting and Wes Helms at third base. Would Freddie squeeze here?
He might.
1 out. The squeeze is on, and the ball is bunted foul at the plate. Wes Helms was coming, and Coghlan got a piece of it and fouled it off.
You've got a smart base runner at third. You got a guy at the plate you trust to get the bunt down here, and Freddie's talked about this a lot. He likes to squeeze right after something kind of crazy and frenzied happens, like a triple right there. You called it, Dave. Good job. Didn't work, though.
Well, we'll see what happens now. Anyway, regardless of what Freddie does now, he's got one of his hot hitters at the plate. Coghlan swings, misses. Strike 2.
It's only the third run Contreras has allowed this season, the first 2 both against the Braves.
Infield still in, and the count 0-2 on Chris Coghlan. Contreras holds, and here's the pitch. And Coghlan swings, misses, strike 3. So after the failed squeeze attempt, he did a good job to get the bat on the ball. Because if he hadn't, why, Wes Helms would have been tagged out. But he got the bat on the ball, kept the at-bat alive. It did away with the squeeze possibility, and then he wound up going down on strikes. Now there are 2 outs in the inning, and the infield can move back. Gabby Sanchez, the batter. Gabby is 2 out of 4. has been on base 3 times. He reached once on an error by the first baseman Ryan Howard. He hit a home run tonight in the first inning for the first Marlins run of the night. The pitch is fouled back by Gabby, strike 1. 8 runs, 11 hits for the Marlins against the Phillies, 7 runs on 10 hits. Helms at third base. So if Contreras gets wild, Wes Helms will be watching carefully. Here comes the pitch. And that caught the inside edge, a called strike, 0-2 on Gabby Sanchez. Marlins have hit 2 home runs tonight. Gabby in the first inning. Hanley hit a 2-run homer in the third inning. The Philadelphia Phillies have hit 2 home runs. Ryan Howard a 2-run homer in the third. Shane Victorino a solo homer in the fourth. Contreras to the plate, and the pitch low and outside. And immediately as that ball was in the dirt and blocked and scooped up by Ruiz, Gabby put that right hand stop sign up for Wes Helms. A ball and 2 strikes to Sanchez. The play in the 8th inning, and the Marlins up by 1. The Marlins at one point early in the game, after 2.5 innings, had a 4-0 lead. Here's the pitch. And a fastball over the inside edge, strike 3 called. And Contreras gets out of it with a runner at third with a pair of strikeouts, Coghlan and Sanchez, and a missed squeeze bunt. 1 run on 2 hits and a runner left on base. The Marlins lead 8-7. We go to the bottom.
.com.
Clay Hensley comes on for the Marlins here in the bottom of the 8th inning. He's got the top of the Philly order. Victorino, Polanco, and Utley. The Marlins have a 1-run lead. So Clay Hensley will take on Victorino to get this bottom of the inning underway. I want to remind you of a Baker Concrete Super Saturday, June 19th. Post-game concert after the fireworks show will feature Sergio Vargas and Millie Quezada. All presented by the Dominican Republic Ministry of Tourism. Check it out at marlins.com. Our ball game tonight brought to you in part by Simple Green. Use biodegradable, non-toxic Simple Green to keep your gear clean. Simple Green cleans at the speed of light. Hensley is the 5th pitcher. Rick Vandenherk sitting on a win if the Marlins can hang on here, and Hensley goes to work on Victorino. The first pitch is in there for a strike. Talked to Randy St. Clair today about Clay Hensley. The last little while, maybe the last 10 games, Clay's had a little command issue. Here's the pitch, and that missed low and in. 7 walks in the last 10 innings, and Randy said he wasn't so concerned about the total of walks as he was first pitch strikes with Clay. The pitch is fouled back, and 1-2 the count on the hitter Shane Victorino. He said, the thing I've talked to Clay about, he's got to get back to where he was early when he threw all those first pitch strikes. That sets everything he has up for the rest of the at-bat, and it kept the walk totals down. Now the first pitch strikes have gone down and the walks have come up. The pitch swung on and missed. He struck him out. Victorino goes down on strikes, and that for Clay Hensley is his 39th. Let me check that. For Clay Hensley, yes, his 39th strikeout in 31 innings.
And that's a huge first out with the big bats. Walk to leadoff man Pagan. You got to keep Victorino off in front of Polanco, Utley, and Howard.
Polanco 1 out of 4, had a single his last time up, takes a pitch inside, ball 1. Wes Helms stays in the game after pinch hitting in the 9th spot, and Wes is at third base. Gabby Sanchez out of the game with Jorge Cantu going over to finish up at first base. Defensive change that Freddie makes often with late innings leads. Here's the pitch and a called strike. Outfield remains Coghlan, Ross, and Stanton. Mike Stanton in his big league debut tonight. 2 out of 4. Cantu, Ugla, Ramirez, and Helms on the infield. Paulino behind the plate. 1-1 to Polanco. And the pitch. Polanco checks his swing. And that was low and outside, ball 2. Polanco, who has had a bad sore, tender elbow, has missed some playing time of late. Marlins didn't see him in the last series. Here's the pitch to Polanco, and that's low. And Clay falls behind 3-1. So Polanco steps out for a moment. Polanco, 34 years old, takes the next pitch. Strike on the inside corner. That was big for Hensley. 3-2. But he is not out of the woods, not yet. Polanco, who was an all-star in 2007. That was with the Detroit Tigers. He batted .341 that year. Silver Slugger winner in the American League. Here's the 3-2 pitch to Polanco, and that's low, and ball 4, and it's a one-out walk to Polanco that brings Utley to the plate. Tying run at first, go-ahead run at the plate.
The lefty Tankersley is ready in the bullpen with Utley and Howard coming up if Freddie wants him.
Well, at least for now, Hensley will stay. And so Utley, who is 2 for 3 with a sac fly and has scored 2 runs, he's been a big part of this Philly effort tonight. Marlins lead by a run, 8-7, and the pitch, and it's low to Utley. Ball 1.
Utley against Hensley is 4 out of 9, 3 walks and a strikeout. 3 for 11 against Tankersley. Tankersley has really had Ryan Howard's number historically, 0 for 6, 5 Ks.
Here's the pitch, and that's low and inside. We'll see how Freddie plays it. It could be that he wants Hensley to get Utley and then Tankersley to get Howard. That's possible. Two balls, no strikes to Utley, though. That's put Hensley in a spot. Here's the pitch. Utley swings, pops it foul off to the right side. Little tapper over there. 2 balls and a strike. Ryan Howard casting a large, long shadow from the stadium lights down near the Philadelphia on-deck circle to our right. 1 out here. Double play depth on the infield. And Hensley's pitch to Utley. Hit high into the air, foul down the left field line. That's back out of play about 18 rows. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Utley. His hits tonight, singles in the 3rd and again in the 5th inning. Neither team has been playing well for a while. Both trying to get back on track. Here's the pitch, and that's low and inside and knocked down by Paulino, but that's did it hit him? No, it's just ball 4. Because right away the plate umpire jumped out, waving off Paulino's throw to second, only to inform Paulino that that was ball 4. Polanco down to second base on the walk. So now a pair of walks with 1 out. Now does Freddie stay? No, he won't. Because Hensley has not thrown strikes except to strike out Victorino to start the inning. Then it hasn't gone well since then with a pair of walks to put the tying run in scoring position and the go-ahead run on base and bring the Phillies cleanup hitter Ryan Howard to the plate. And so that's going to bring Taylor Tankersley into the game. What a spot for Tank. The Metro PCS call to the bullpen. The Marlins make a pitching change. You're listening to the Marlins. Clay Hensley came on and struck out Shane Victorino for the first out of this 8th inning. Then he walked Polanco and Utley to bring Ryan Howard to the plate. And Taylor Tankersley is into the game to take over. And he is the 6th pitcher to go out there for the Marlins. Starter Chris Volstad went 4+. So now Tankersley, and he's got some really interesting numbers against Howard.
Well, these two have squared off in 10 plate appearances, and Howard has put the bat on the ball just one time. He's 0 for 6 with 5 strikeouts. He's walked 4 times, once intentionally, and he was hit 1 time. At one stretch, Tankersley struck Howard out in 5 consecutive head-to-head matchups. But this isn't the same pitcher who faced Howard in 06, 07, and 08. Tankersley, after the arm problems, his velocity not what it was his first time around.
Well, Tankersley, with 1 out, now faces Ryan Howard. Tankersley climbs up onto the hill from the third base side of the infield. Howard gets into the left-hand hitter's batter's box. Tankersley making his 6th appearance, no decisions. Only 2 1/3 major league innings under his belt. Allowed a run and a hit. And here's the pitch. Howard takes low and outside, a breaking ball, and ball 1. Marlins lead 8-7. The lead in jeopardy as the Phillies put 2 on with the walks. Tankersley checking in. Gets the sign from Ronnie Paulino. Wouldn't a double play ball be nice? Here is the pitch. Howard swings, hits the ball on the ground to first. Bad, wicked hop, up with it. Cantu takes it to the bag for the out. That was a smash, and the ball wedged in the webbing. He can hardly get the ball out of the webbing of the glove, and it might have torn the webbing of the glove. What a shot that Cantu had to handle to retire Ryan Howard. 2 down. Runners move up a notch. Now base hit can put the Phillies in the lead. I mean, I'm amazed that Cantu came up with that ball.
And the ball almost did break through the webbing of his glove. It came out partially on the other side. That ball was scalded and took a vicious hop. That's a terrific play by Jorge.
Yeah.
Now you've got the right-hander Francisco. You've got the lefty Ibanez on deck.
I mean, we may look back on that as a game-saving play.
If Tankersley gets this next out.
Yeah, it depends on what happens here. I was just checking the only run that Tankersley has allowed is that Gallardo home run. That was a pitching mistake. Well, 2 outs, 2nd and 3rd for the Phillies. Here's the right-hand batter, Ben Francisco. Tankersley stays on to face the right-hand batter, who is 1 out of 3. And the pitch. And Francisco takes a strike from Taylor Tankersley. Tankersley and Ben Francisco have never faced off. They do here with the game on the line. Marlins up by a run, and a single could tie the game, or more than likely to the outfield. A base hit puts the Phillies ahead. The pitch. A swing and a ground ball. Base hit out into left center. Here's a tying run, Polanco. Behind him, Utley, the go-ahead run, and the Phillies have taken a 9-8 lead on a 2-out single by Ben Francisco. To the left of the bag, to the left of the shortstop, Hanley Ramirez, and out into left center, and the Phils have the lead.
Well, the 2 men who scored, 2 men who walked with 1 out in this inning.
Those runs are charged to Clay Hensley. Raul Ibanez, 3 out of 4. At first base, Ben Francisco, who knocks in 2 runs, his 3rd and 4th RBIs of the season. Tankersley sets, delivers a pitch, and a breaking ball low. And again, you made the point a while ago, Jeff, that when the starting pitcher doesn't go deep, you use up your entire bullpen just to get the stages like this in the game, and you can't be picky. You only have so many people to run out there. That pitch is in there and a called strike.
Chris Volstad went 4 innings plus tonight. That means you need to get 15 outs out of your bullpen if you're going to win this game.
I mean, he didn't want to bring the rookie Jay Bente in to face the right-handed batter. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. There are times, and Freddie has done it at times, that you bring the closer in the 8th inning for an out. There's a ground ball, base hit through the right side. Ibanez pulls a single to right. Taking third is Francisco. First and third for the Phillies. And 2 hits given up by Tankersley.
This one to the left-hander. Ibanez, who had 3 hits in his last 9 games, is 4 for 5 here tonight.
Wilson Valdez, right-handed batter. Phillies have cashed in the 2 walks that were given up by Clay Hensley. Nobody up in the Marlins bullpen. So there have been no Leo Nunez sighting. Tankersley delivers a pitch, and that's low. Valdez, 1 out of 4, had an infield hit in the 2nd inning. But not that you can let the bullpen entirely off the hook. Not attempting to do that at all. But here's the pitch, swung on and missed. Going back to the early stages of the game when the Marlins had a 4-0 lead. And in the span of 14 batters, the Marlins starter, Chris Volstad, gave up 6 runs. In the span of 14 hitters. From the 3rd inning into the through the 5th inning. 1 ball, 1 strike. And the pitch. There's a called strike.
Now you got Brad Lidge waiting for you in the 9th inning. Lidge, who's been hot since coming off the DL. The Marlins, unless they can rally, will for the 2nd consecutive game blow a sizable lead. 5-0 Sunday in New York, 4-0 here tonight.
Yeah, it wasn't until the last hit by Ibanez that some of the fans started to leave. The pitch, swing and a miss. Runner at first took off. Ibanez goes back to first base on a foul ball. Actually, I said a swing and a miss, and Valdez made contact, fouled the ball off. 1-2, and still first and third. 44,098, the 70th, that's 7-0, 70th consecutive sellout at Citizens Bank Park. Tankersley's pitch, low inside. That breaking ball had the hitter Valdez having to move that right foot to keep from getting hit. The last 3 Philly runs that have scored in this game, the 6th inning run and the 2 runs here in this 8th inning, those base runners were walked. Here's the pitch. A ball sliced foul down behind first base. Davey Lopes waves that bye-bye. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Wilson Valdez. Tankersley throws to first base, diving back to the bag safely, Ibanez. Seven pitchers in the Marlins bullpen. 5 have been used in this game. A check at first, the pitch. Swing and a slow roller toward third. Helms is going to let it roll. That's his only chance, and it stays fair, and it's an infield hit for Valdez, and another run for the Phillies. A huge insurance run. They lead 10-8. Valdez took a big swing, hit a little slow roller along the grass toward third. As it got down toward the cutaway, it looked like it might go foul. That was the only play Helms had because he was playing back. He let it roll, hoping it would go foul. It didn't. So an infield hit for Valdez, his second hit, his second RBI. Francisco scores from third base. Ibanez goes down to second base on the hit. Phillies have scored 3 times against the bullpen here in the 8th. Lead 10-8. And Carlos Ruiz, the batter. 10 runs, 13 hits for the Phils. 8 runs, 11 hits for the Marlins. Ruiz with a couple of walks is officially 0 for 2. There's a called strike. He received an intentional pass in the second, flied out to right field in the fourth, lined out to center field in the fifth, and then walked again in the 7th inning. Right-hand hitting catcher. 0-1 the count. Tankersley looking at the lead runner and then steps off. Coghlan, Ross, and Stanton pretty much straight away. Both corner outfielders a few steps toward the alleys. Cody straight away in center field. And the pitch. And that's low. So the games in the last little while for the Marlins have just been agonizing defeats. And this one is not over. Here comes the pitch. And that's on the outside edge, a called strike, and it's 1-2 to Carlos Ruiz. But if Tankersley is able to get Ruiz out, who, by the way, is the 8th batter of this inning for the Phillies, the Marlins have a lot of work to do in the 9th inning with the bats. Down by 2. Here's the pitch. A swing and a chopper to the right side. Up with this Cantu. He's in a foot race to the bag with Ruiz, and Cantu got there. Jorge Cantu with the play. He's made a couple of terrific plays in this inning. But the Phillies score 3 runs on a couple of walks and then 3 hits. And they leave a couple. They now have a 10-8 lead, and here comes Lidge, their closer, as we go to the 9th inning on the Marlins radio network. The Marlins will have Hanley Ramirez, Jorge Cantu, and Dan Uggla trying to get something going against Brad Lidge, the 4th Philly pitcher. The Marlins have let a 4-0 lead get away tonight, and in the bottom of the 8th inning, they let an 8-7 lead get away. Hanley hit a 2-run homer in the 3rd. He's 1 out of 4 on the night. We'll give you some numbers on Lidge in a moment. The big right-hander delivers. Hanley shows bunt, takes low, and a ball. Tonight's Preferred Care Partners tip of the day is warm up fans thoroughly before you play any sport or engage in any kind of physical activity. Cold muscles, tendons, and ligaments are vulnerable to injury. Here's the pitch. Hanley takes a strike. 1-1 from Lidge to Hanley Ramirez. Lidge rocks back, delivers. Fastball just missed inside, maybe a little bit low. Lidge makes his 8th appearance. No decisions, but 2 saves. 6 1/3 innings. He's allowed 1 run on 3 hits. 7 strikeouts and only 1 walk. So the numbers have been good. The pitch, swing and a miss. And 2 strikes on Hanley, 2-2.
Since his most recent trip to the DL, 3 appearances, 3 perfect innings. His manager, Charlie Manuel, said his command was as good in his last outing as he's seen in a long, long time.
Reinstated the 31st of May from his second DL stint. He was on to start the season until April 30th, went back on May 10th and stayed for the rest of the month. Here's the pitch. Hanley swings, pops it up over near the Philly dugout, and it's going to be back into the seats. Against the Marlins, Lidge is appearing in his 29th career game. He has a win and a loss and 13 career saves. 3 of them coming in 7 games last season. Ruiz out to talk to number 54, Brad Lidge. Coming back from right elbow surgery. 2-2 on Hanley Ramirez. Lidge to the plate. Hanley swings and he hits a single through the left side, right between the shortstop and the third baseman. And Hanley is aboard with his second hit of the night. That brings Jorge Cantu to the plate. Cantu 1 out of 4. He doubled in the 7th inning and knocked in a run. Over at first base, Howard on the bag to hold Hanley. Double play depth on the infield. Here's the pitch. And a called strike on Cantu. Cantu against Lidge. 2 out of 7 with a double and a walk. And the pitch. Swing and a foul straight back. The Marlins did most of their scoring early. The Gabby Sanchez home run in the first. RBI double by Ronnie Paulino in the second. 2-run homer by Hanley in the third. And a 2-run single by Chris Coghlan in the fourth. The pitch. Fouled straight back. Marlins added a run in the 7th and 1 in the 8th, but now they need more in this 9th inning, down by a pair. Game that has seen 25 hits. 12 of them belong to the Marlins. The pitch low and outside to Cantu. 1-2. And a game in which both teams have combined to make 4 errors, 2 aside. Jay Bente is up in the Marlins bullpen. But this is the 9th inning with the Phillies leading. The Marlins have got to tie it to get Bente into the game. The pitch is swung on and missed, and Cantu goes down on strikes. Jose Contreras, who gave up a run in the last inning, all of a sudden he's sitting on a win. One out here, double play depth. Dan Uggla, the batter, has not had a good night. He is 0 for 4. The pitch swung on, missed, strike 1. In the 3rd inning, he hit his second fly ball of the night to center field. And it was to deep center, but it was caught by Victorino. But 0 for 4 with one well-hit ball. Here's the 0-1 pitch, and it's outside. Dan Uggla against Brad Lidge. 1 for 5 lifetime with 2 walks. Cody Ross on deck. Marlins running out of outs. Here's the pitch, and it's low and away. 2 balls and a strike to Dan. Now, the one thing the Marlins have going for them here, if you consider all things, and that is the threat of the long ball. With a runner on, Dan Uggla could tie the game with a long ball. Cody Ross is on deck. Lidge has taken care of one threat. Cantu. Here's the pitch. Ugla swings and misses. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, Dan chased a pitch up in his eyes. High fastball blown right by him. And now 2 balls and 2 strikes to Dan Ugla. Sellout crowd cheering Lidge on. Hanley takes his lead at first. The pitch. A swing, a pop foul back just off to our right. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Dan Ugla. Ruiz out for a brief word with Lidge. Kyle Kendrick, their starter, went 5, gave up 6 of the Marlins' 8 runs. Chad Durbin gave up a run. Jose Contreras gave up a run. Now Lidge in a save situation. The pitch. Ugla swings, pops it foul. This will be back out of play. Lidge gunning for his 3rd save here in this, just past the 1/3 mark of the season. Lidge taking his time. And I think so is Ruiz. But now they're ready, and the pitch. Swing and a miss. He kept that pitch down. It had some bite to it. Looked like a nasty slider. Struck out Dan Ugla. 2 down. Couple of strikeouts for Lidge. Cody Ross, the batter. 0 for 3 with a walk, and he scored a run. Lidge, who is 33 years old, coming to the Phils from the Astros. Here's the pitch. That's high and outside. Hanley jogs down to second. He goes down there on defensive indifference. And again, Ruiz goes out to talk to Lidge. Brad Lidge, who established himself as one of the premier closers in the game in the 2005 season with Houston when he saved 42 games. Had a big first year with the Phillies in 08 when he saved 41 games. The right-hander delivers. Cody takes low. 2 balls, no strikes to Cody Ross. Lidge bent at the waist. Holds right at the waist. Straightens. Looks back at the runner Ramirez. Delivers a pitch. Misses inside to Cody. And gets ball 3 well inside. Very close to Cody. 3-0 the count. Cody steps out. Takes a walk. When Lidge is on, his stuff is just terrific. And here's the pitch. And Cody takes a strike.
Look who's on deck.
Yeah, would that be a fitting way, no matter how this game goes, to end this one, to give the kid, Mike Stanton, a chance to come up. The 20-year-old rookie making his major league debut on deck tonight. Here in the 9th. 3-1 pitch. Cody swings, and a fly ball, foul territory down the right field line, back out of play. Cody broke his bat. So the bat boy takes 2 out to him. Cody selects 1. Gives the bat handle a quick working there with the pine tar. And he'll get back in. 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th. The fans all standing. 3-2 on Cody. And Mike Stanton wanting to get in one more at bat on this night. Lidge is ready. The pitch to Cody. And it's low in the dirt. And Cody Ross draws a walk to bring Mike Stanton to the plate. Well, Michael is 2 out of 4, has scored 2 runs in this his major league debut. Got his first big league hit in the second inning off Kyle Kendrick, a bouncer on the infield, and scored his first run in that inning on Paulino's double, staking the Marlins to a 2-0 lead. Rich Doobie, the pitching coach, is going out to visit Brad Lidge. Obviously, these two have not faced one another, and Mike Stanton will get an opportunity with runners at first and second. And you wonder what is going through Mike Stanton's mind right now. Times 2. The Mike Stanton that's about to get into the batter's box and the Mike Stanton that's sitting in the stands watching his son play.
Now I'll bet you the kid in the batter's box is cooler than the guy in the seats.
Well, you know that Mike Stanton has seen chances like this time and time again in his minor league career. 2 outs, runners at first and second. Marlins down by 2, and Stanton the batter. I'm thinking about 0-3. Here's the pitch, and it's low and a ball. We talked about it earlier. It was in 2003 in Miguel Cabrera's major league debut that in the 11th inning of a game against Tampa Bay, he hit a 2-run homer for his first major league hit to win the game for the Marlins. Here's the pitch. And Stanton takes low, ball 2, 2-0. One of the things that they've told us about Mike Stanton, and we've seen in tracking him almost on a daily basis, is that he's learned to deal with adversity, hasn't he? We've seen him have some ups and downs. And every time he's had a down, he's bounced right back up. Part of the learning process. Here's the pitch to Stanton. A swing and a bounding ball out near second. To his right, Utley gets it, flips to second. Safe there, bases are loaded. Good job, Cody Ross. Hustled as hard as he could go to second to beat a play. Chase Utley takes a hit away from Mike Stanton by ranging quickly and far to his right to come up with a hard bouncer that was deflected by the pitcher, Brad Lidge. But not in time to get Cody at second base, and so Stanton on a fielder's choice loads him up, and Ronnie Paulino gets a crack at Brad Lidge with the bases loaded. Now base hit can tie the game. The pitch to Paulino. Swing and a foul at the plate, strike 1.
I think they might have gone base hit on Stanton there.
Did they?
I think so.
Utley wouldn't have gotten him had he thrown to first.
No, exactly. That is a hit.
So a 3-hit night for Stanton. The pitch, and it's low to Paulino.
Again, Mike Redmond was 3 for 3 in his major league debut for the Marlins on May 31st of '98 against the Brewers. This is the second Marlin ever with 3 hits in his debut.
Lidge from the windup delivers the pitch, and it's low and a ball. Now 2 balls and a strike, the count on Ronnie Paulino. He doubled to knock in a run in the second, singled in the 4th, then struck out in the 6th, flied out in the 8th. This is the 4th different pitcher he's faced tonight. Brad Lidge started to go to work just as the plate umpire, Ted Barrett, gave Ronnie Paulino time, and Paulino steps out. Paulino with the sacks full. 2 out in the 9th. Lidge delivers. Paulino swings, and he pops a ball up to the right side. Utley calls for it, and in front of Howard moves the big guy out of the way, makes the catch, and the game is over. Paulino pops up to the right side. Utley with the catch, and the Marlins leave the bases full in the top of the 9th inning, and the Phillies get away with a 10-8 win in Game 1 of this 3-game series. The final score, the Phils 10 and the Marlins 8. Back with the totals in a moment on the Marlins Radio Network. Well, back here for a look at the totals on the game, and wish we had better news for you if you just tuned in, but the Marlins have lost here tonight in Philadelphia 10-8. So this road trip not going at all well. A 3-game sweep at Citi Field by the Mets, and now a loss in Game 1 of this 3-game series. The Marlins have lost 4 in a row. The Philadelphia Phillies scoring a 10-8 win here. Give you the numbers on this game in just a moment, but one of the points that I wanted to make about the Marlins losing 4 straight is the fact that that's their longest losing streak of the season. This is not the first time, but it is the second time that the Marlins have lost 4 straight games. They did so as recently as 2 losses to Atlanta, 2 to Philadelphia, 4 straight. And also here. Well, the other side of that is that Marlins' longest win streak of the season is 4. So they're stuck on that number, and they will try to avoid a 5th straight loss tomorrow night. But tonight, the story goes like this. For the Philadelphia Phillies, 10 runs, 13 hits, 2 errors, 10 left. The Marlins scored 8 runs on 13 hits, made 2 errors, left 9. The winning pitcher, Jose Contreras, out of the Philly bullpen, he's 3-2. Clay Hensley, the losing pitcher, and Hensley 1-3. Brad Lidge with his 3rd save. Time of the game 3:14 and 44,098 to see it. Both teams clubbed a pair of home runs. For the Marlins, Gabby Sanchez and Hanley Ramirez, and for the Phillies, Ryan Howard and Shane Victorino hit home runs. The Marlins had a 4-0 lead get away. They also had an 8-7 lead get away when the Phils scored 3 runs in the bottom of the 8th inning to capture the lead again and go on and win 10-8. The starting pitcher, Chris Volstad, in the span of 14 batters, starting with Chase Utley's hit in the 3rd inning and ending with a ground out that scored a run off the bat of Wilson Valdez in the 5th inning. Gave up 6 runs in the span of 14 batters, and that forced the hand that brought in one pitcher after another from the bullpen as the Marlins used 5 of their 7 bullpen pitchers to try to get through this, and of course it did not work out. A 10-8 win for the Phils. They are now 4-3 on the year against the Marlins. The Phillies came in struggling as much as the Marlins had struggled. Phils had lost 13 of their last 19 games. The Marlins have now lost 12 of their last 18. So both of these teams had gone into a tailspin. But the Phillies with a win tonight are now 31-26, 5 games over 500. And with this loss, the Marlins fall to 28 wins, 31 losses, 3 under. Tomorrow night, quite a pitching matchup as the Marlins try to right the ship. Josh Johnson against Roy Halladay. And we're on the air at 6:35 with Marlins on deck, 7:05 first pitch. It's going to be quite a night here in South Philly because the Blackhawks and the Flyers are playing right across the street. And they're going to drop the puck on that one 1 hour after first pitch here. So you can imagine what it's going to be like here in South Philly tomorrow night with all of that going on. So tomorrow night, Josh Johnson 6-2 and a 2.10 ERA goes up against Roy Halladay 8-3 with a 2.03 ERA. That should be quite a contest. It is a rematch, of course, of the pitchers that squared off in Halladay's perfect game and the 1-0 win in Miami. Tonight's final again, the Phils 10 and the Marlins 8. And oh yes, by the way, Mike Stanton made his major league debut tonight, and the big guy did not disappoint. He did not hit a home run, but he went 3 for 5 and scored 2 and gave the Marlins a chance. And he's our Stanley Tools 5-tool player of the game in his major league debut. 10-8 Phils win. Dave Van Horn saying so long for now. An invitation to you to stay tuned. There's more coming up. The 10th inning show is next with Glenn Geffner here on the Marlins Radio Network.